Hey everybody, Smiles here with Gamer Smiles, and I'm super excited. Today we'll be going through the Blueberry Prologue here on Gamer Smiles playing the Scarlet and Violet online competition. It is not exactly VGC, it was doubles rules, but it slightly differs. What the Blueberry Prologue is, it just allows you to use any Pokemon available in the Blueberry Pokedex. That also includes a Trapigos. I really didn't have much time to build out a team. I've just been busy with some house stuff, as well as getting ready for Charlotte for that trip I'm really excited about. But I thought it would be good practice just to practice the fundamentals of Pokemon, as well as, if there's things in the Blueberry Prologue that seem interesting, I can try it out. I will have to be mindful that some of the threats that you normally see, like Landorus, or Fluttermane, or Tornadus, or Urshifu, or those types of Pokemon, or Latias, actually Latias is a good one, and Entei as well, won't be in this format. So, something just to be mindful of, but I'm really excited to try this out and see how far we'll go. Without further ado, let's go ahead and kick off our intro, and we'll get into these battles shortly. Alright guys, we are live here with some Pokemon battling action for the Blueberry Prologue. I'm super excited. Hope you guys are too as we hop in here. Alright, for some reason, I am unable to hear anything off of my headphones. Let me go see what's up. It might honestly be that these headphones are terrible, which is very, very possible. Let me double check. Alright, so first off, let me do the audio properties here. Let me do monitor off for now, and monitor and output. Okay, so, yeah, now we're hearing double. Uh-oh, that's not what we want. We want them to go through the headphones. I'm so sorry. Give me a second. That's weird. Alright, you're gonna hear double music for a little bit. Let me try to... Okay, that's weird. Alright, we'll go ahead and turn off the monitor for now. Not a big deal. I guess I'll listen to the music in a different format. Or I'll figure that out. But in any case, yeah, hope you guys we'll just hop in here and get into some battling. So we'll go to Battle Spots, Stadium Singles, Battle Stadium, and we'll go from there. Like I said, this is the Blueberry Prologue, so a little bit different than VGC Regulation F. But we will see quite a bit of amount of Pokemon from Regulation F there. So let's go ahead and jump in. Yep, I will register, and the team out, and yeah, they're telling you agree, you can't share hardware, only one person plays, all that good stuff. Alright, with that, we'll go ahead and launch this team, which is Rillaboom, Primarina, Raging Bolt, Arachnid, Alolan Ninetales, and Incineroar. So, kind of bulkier, and a little bit of, like, mixed special. As you can kind of tell, like, some of the older Pokemon, like Golden Go, wouldn't be allowed in this format, and things like that, or Landorus. So, it's a little bit more restrictive in that sense. But it is definitely a very fun team to try out. So, let's go ahead and hop in here. Alright, so we've been locked in, entered, and we got 15 battles total. So, let's see what we can do here. It really doesn't matter, because, yeah, we'll put that one. Y'all listening to the battle music here. So, alright, our first battle against Capri. What does Capri have for us here? So, Capri's coming out with us. Ooh, very interesting team with Ranunculus, Rotom Heat, Lapras, Excadrill, Metagross, and Arcaludon. So, a lot of Steel-type Pokemon. Incineroar looks okay. I think the one problem I have with Incineroar is mainly the Excadrill slot, and Lapras as well. ground is definitely something that could work as well. My Rillaboom, I believe, has high horsepower, so that could be helpful. I think the main thing I had to watch out for is Rotom Mow. So I think dealing with Rotom Mow might be the answer here, and I think we can kind of pave our way through. I kind of like Raging Bolt for the most part. I think being resistant to the steals, I think what I need to be mindful of is potential Arcaludon shenanigans with some of the Dragon-type moves. And the Arachnid honestly looks like it can go hard here, too. I would like to set up a Lauren Linetails, but again, the steals, like I was calling out, feels like that isn't as comfy. So I'm down for an Arachnid and Incineroar lead with Raging Bolt and Rillaboom in the back. And I think the way that I want to play this is, Incineroar can fake out, and the Arachnid can try to get a big KO somewhere, and then from there we kind of maneuver the board and go from there. Yeah, Ghost Terror would have been nice to deal with any, like, Arcaludon potential, like, body presses, but, yeah, unfortunately we just won't have that right now. And I really don't threaten a one-hit KO on it either. Alright, so we are going to actually see Ranunculus and Rotom being led off against Arachnid and Incineroar. This actually looks pretty good for us if Trick Room gets set up, just because Arachnid is known to be pretty slow. So I feel very confident. Oh, and Rotom reveals White Herb. Okay, so that was to help with Overheat. So, yeah, I do feel very confident in both the Fake Out into Liquidation play. I don't really think the opponent has a good response to this. You could Ghost Terror your Rotom, but I feel like that's such a commitment here. If you switch out Rotom, then it'll be pretty good damage. I would say that the only Pokemon I would be worried about if you switched out Rotom would be like Arcaludon, but we're not going to see that. I gotta set fire off this really strong Liquidation. I get Rotom off the board pretty early, so that actually paves the way for Rillaboom to do really well in this match. And then we get Psychic Terrain set up. Okay, a little bit kind of too late for that. But this could actually be pretty helpful with winning in, like, I would imagine. I don't think any of their Pokemon scream expanding for spam. I'm trying to think. Maybe it is Ranunculus that's going to do that. But I do feel confident going for a parting shot here to kind of negate some of that. Okay, Starlabor, which is Excadrill. Okay, and Excadrill uses Mold Breaker here. So I'm not too worried about this. I definitely feel confident in firing off a Liquidation into the Excadrill slot. And I do see value in preserving Incineroar, so I will hard switch into Rillaboom rather than using Parting Shot. Mold Breaker is interesting, but not anything I'm super concerned about with my Pokemon in particular. Alright, so Incineroar is going to go ahead and leave the field while Rillaboom comes out. Mold Breaker is really good against Levitate users who are who would be weak to ground type moves. Okay, and so we're going to see a Terra. I wonder who it's from. Is it okay, so it is going to be from Excadrill, and Excadrill Terra's ground, which I'm honestly okay with. That means that you're actually weak against my grass type moves here. So Excadrill Terra's ground. It's going to use Earthquake here, but I double resist it. I'm not going to take much damage. Yeah, look how little we took. There, Ranunculus took a lot more. We just get Excadrill off the board. And that's game over for Excadrill. Man, Arachnid coming in strong. 2 big knockouts back to back. Look at that. That's pretty impressive here. As Ranunculus goes for Endeavor, but Endeavor doesn't really do much damage there. So I think in this case, I feel pretty confident of, look, I can ignore Ranunculus for now, and I can get a big KO later in the game. Alright, and our final Pokemon that we're going to be facing off against is against Metagross. So definitely a big threat here. But I think now I feel very confident to Water. Okay, it looked like I disconnected and reconnected. Sorry about that, folks. Looks like we're back up and running, though, which is good. And then Trick Room gets set up here. Okay, so definitely a cool play by using Trick Room now, but with Metagross taking so much damage, I do feel confident I can, well, now I just outspeed Metagross under Trick Room. What is up, Apollo? How you doing? Great timing. We are just wrapping up our first battle here, yeah, it's been a pretty definitive win so far. Yeah, we're doing a pretty dang good job here. The opponent had Excadrill and Rotom Heat ahead before, and so we were able to fake out Rotom Heat and use Arachnid to get that quick KO. And Ranunculus really isn't putting any offensive pressure. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Give it 1 second. I think I am running into a little bit of issues. No, it's probably my time too. Okay. Yeah, let me see what's going on. Hey B, great to see ya. I am having some issue with some drop frames here. It seems like things are recovering. We're gonna get this KO on Ridiculous. The first battle, I'll be honest, wasn't really that big, so not a big deal there. It does seem like things are returning back to normal. Maybe my settings did get messed up, so let me go check that real quick. It should be on 50 frames. Alright, I appreciate you, Apollo, thank you. Yeah, no, we quickly knocked it out, so we're good there. But yeah, let me see if maybe the output or the stream itself is 225 kilobytes, 160 audio bit. Okay, I think there was one other thing I wanted to look at. I had it saved on our Slack. Alright guys, we are back-ish. I'm just waiting to see if we got good signal and everything's working. Alright, seems like we're back up and running. First off, thank you guys so much for your patience and huge shout out. So glad to see everyone here. Won our first battle. It wasn't really anything like too impressive. I did like the idea of going for Trick Room, but unfortunately, once I knocked out their Moton Heat, they really didn't have much they could do against me, and Arachnid was just putting in so much damage. But yeah, alright, well with that, let's go ahead and jump into our next battle here. Definitely let me know in the comments, or in the, let me know in chat if we have a little bit too much delay or lag or anything like that. Yes, let's get those dubs. Alrighty. So, like I said earlier when I was starting this up, you can actually use Terapagos in this format, and it looks like the opponent will be winning in their own Terapagos here. So, I am very curious to fight Terapagos. It definitely is a very scary Pokemon, but I think we can work through it. Arachnid honestly looks really strong here. Does a great job of answering a lot of the big threats. I think Ninetales is the only Pokemon I'm a little bit concerned about with it. I do like Primarina as well. I think the one thing I need to be mindful of Primarina is making sure Arcaludon doesn't get off, like, Electro Shot, right? So, I do like Primarina. I think Primarina honestly looks pretty solid. I could probably go with, like, a Incineroar Primarina lead, see what they want to do with Boulder, and then go with Rillaboom. And either Raging Bolt, I like Arachnid, but I don't know if Arachnid is my answer here. I feel like if I can prevent tearing, that will help. Ninetales has to worry about... Ninetales has too much to worry about, yeah. So I'm going to go with Bolt. The reason why I was kind of backing off against Ninetales was I was a little bit worried that Ninetales would... the opponent had Arcaludon, Scizor, and their own Alolan Ninetales. I might not be able to prevent yeah, so Alolan Ninetales and Boulder. So, I'm okay with this lead so far. That means I have both Incineroar, Alolan Ninetales sets up Snow Warning, and Incineroar is going to use Intimidate. Let's see, Clear Amulet? No, not Clear Amulet, so that's huge. Boulder actually, though, reveals Booster Energy, and it is Booster Speed. Okay, so Boulder's going to be a little bit faster here, but I feel like what I can do here is I can fake out into Ninetales, especially too because it was the attack drop. I'm not too worried about Boulder right now, and then try to do as much damage with Hyper Voice as I can. So, yeah, I mean, I don't mind the Aurora Veil eventually getting set up, but I don't need it right at this moment. So Cleave, look at that, it's super effective, and it didn't even do half, right? So now this Hyper Voice is coming in, it does a lot of damage to both, which is awesome, and then now I get a setup by Throat Spray here. So with that, I could technically switch out Incineroar, but I don't mind firing off a Helping Hand here and then going for another Hyper Voice to guarantee I get the KO. So I don't anticipate to get knocked out by Boulder's Cleave. Oh, Ninetales actually is going to go on the offense here. Incineroar does survive, eats the Citrus, but I think Ninetales would have to go for Freeze Dry in this position. Okay, so Ninetales is going to use Aurora Veil, which is totally fine. I'm not too worried about this, and that's why I kind of chose Hyper Voice. and I get 2 knockouts right there. So, critical hit on Boulder, but I don't think that matters, especially with Helping Hand and that +1. So, yeah, well, and I mean, I'm very confident with this trade right now. Incineroar might I think it's a little bit under half with the Citrus Berry, but Primarina is already locked and loaded, +1 special attack, and the trade is Aurora Veil's up. So we do have Terapagos out, and we have Scizor as well. Okay, so Incineroar can be helpful against Scizor. I think right now, there's the Terra Shift as Terapagos Terras right now. Alright, so I think right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring out Rillaboom. I can always bring Incineroar later and pivot it in. And I am going to fire off a Hyper Voice into both. I think the opponent's going to be very tempted to Terra Terapagos. I don't need my Terra right now. Once I get the knockout on Scizor, or it depends. I can either get a knockout on Scizor or I can get a knockout on Terapagos, right? So Rillaboom is going to come in. Grassy Terrain, if you Terra now, goes away, but I still get Fake Out. And also, too, your ability to resist one of my attacks goes away, too. So, Terapagos definitely is a very bulky Pokemon, so it's not over by any means, especially with Aurora Veil up. And here it is, in all of its glory, Terapagos is ready to fight. Yeah, Terraform 0 takes away the snow and also the grassy terrain. The snow at this point does not matter for the opponent. And we're going to see that Terra Star Storm. I wonder, it probably does a decent amount. Oh, that's not that bad. And then Scizor is going to Swords Dance. Okay. So, seeing Scizor using Swords Dance is actually pretty helpful. Definitely a good call there. I do a good amount of damage to Scizor, so I do feel like faking out into Scizor and firing off another Hyper Voice would actually look pretty good here. Yeah, because I feel like Terapagos, I'm not going to... Yeah, Scizor flinches, sure. And then Terapagos actually sets up Calm Mind. Okay, so the opponent's definitely going to go a lot more defensive here. That does give me an opportunity to set up my own Calm Mind. And I think Incineroar at this point has pretty much done his job. Alright, we're very close to the KO on Scizor, but we didn't get it quite yet. But I don't mind at this point protecting for now. And bringing in Incineroar. I'm definitely going to be... Like, Incineroar is going to get sacked for sure, but at least in this case, it won't be too bad here. So Incineroar comes out. Terapagos losing his attack isn't a big deal. And Scizor's actually clear Amulet, which is kind of interesting to see. I wonder if Terapagos and Scizor decide to set up this turn. Yeah, Scizor goes for a Bullet Punch into Primarina, which is totally fine. And we're going to see the Star Storm, yeah. So this will be enough to knock out Incineroar here. But at this point in the game, I was totally fine with it. And that was the one thing of having that double KO early on. I get a crit, but yeah, I think at that point it didn't make a difference. I get a nice switch in here. Alright, so Terapagos definitely wants to go crazy, but we're going to find ways to deal with it. We'll bring in Rillaboom here. And I think in this case, I want to Fake Out and actually just Moonblast into Terapagos. Terapagos, Scizor probably would want to protect. I'm trying to think what would... Yeah, so Scizor protects, sure. But that means next turn I should get a KO with Grassy Glide. Even with through the resist, I shouldn't... I just need a little bit of chip damage to get there. So Terapagos goes for a Terra Star Storm again, which is totally fine here. Alright, we'll be taking a little bit more damage, but we get to fire off this Moonblast here. Does a decent amount, like a little bit of chip, and then Terapagos reveals its berry as well. Citrus Berry here? Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, Terapagos is coming up as kind of a big threat here. I guess the question to ask is, that's kind of a tough question, because Scizor technically could Bullet Punch into Rillaboom. Ooh, yeah, Terapagos actually is putting a lot more pressure than I thought it would. We're able to use the Protect and get this off. Yeah, Scizor, yeah, that was a great call. I would have agreed there. Fire Terror would have been able to save us, but I don't think I would have had enough firepower, no pun intended, to get that. And Terapagos goes in for a Terra Star Storm again. Okay. Tropical heals up with Grassy Terrain, so does Scizor. And Primarina gets some healing as well. Okay. Alright, this is definitely a tough one. Mainly because Terapagos itself exerts so much pressure, and it is now Calm-Minded up. I do feel confident in Thunderclapping into Scizor. And I'm down to Moonblast here. Yeah, just to get some damage off. So Scizor does go first. Oh, great. I, for some reason, thought Thunderclap was +2 priority. I think I lost the game here, unfortunately. Yeah. So there you go. And then we got Terra Starstorm coming out. Yeah, single target, 120 base. It's like, I think 30 pace lower. It's like basically getting a free old school Hydro Pump off, right? Yeah, we don't have enough firepower to win this, unfortunately. And the opponent can easily just, yeah, play through that. So, well done from the opponent. I think Aurora Veil really did help him out. I was happy with the double KO. I think it was just like Terapagos is a really strong Pokemon. Luckily, we don't have to worry about it in an official format later, so yeah, we'll just go ahead and run. But well done. But yeah, Blueberry Prologue, when I looked up that Terapagos could be used, like, oh wow, well, we'll just deal with it. But yeah, definitely a really scary Pokemon with that Calm Mind boost. I think that in itself is going to be really strong. If we do get a format where you can use the big box legendaries, Calm Mind Terapagos with a lot of support might be a really strong Pokemon that you might see pop up there. So just something to keep in mind as we continue playing. Alrighty, it looks like we got another opponent, Anko I can't even begin to say your name. And they also will be using Terapagos. Here we go. But they also have double Intimidate with both Hitmontop and Incineroar, so double Fake Out as well. So that'll be interesting. And Wide Guard. I think Wide Guard Hitmontop probably is a great answer to Terapagos. You're able to block those Terra Starstorms. And actually, now thinking about it, Arachnid might give us some free turns, right? Oh, you think you can Starstorm, but I'll use Wide Guard and maybe get some damage off of you, use Party Shot, or things like that. With that being said, I do like our own Ninetales to help kind of add a more defense. And I think that's the thing too. Their Terapagos is super bulky. I do feel confident using Ninetales, and I don't need to set up a Aurora Veil immediately. I feel like Arachnid in the back could be helpful. Yeah, because Liquidations into Terapagos will be really strong, yeah. And then the problem is I need to get rid of... I do like Incineroar over Whimsicott. Oh, over Rillaboom. I think the question is, do I like Bolt? Bolt's interesting. I don't mind playing through with Bolt and Arachnid. It kind of feels weird not to bring out Incineroar here. Or Rillaboom here, rather. But I'm okay with it, just because I do recognize that the double fake outs are kind of like my biggest thing I want to work through. And I think I can do a decent amount of damage on like Hitmontop or things like that to really make this work. So, yeah. Alright. So with that, we're going to have the opponent send out Mech. Oh, they just went for Terapagos immediately. Okay. That's fun. Luckily here, we won't, oh, you know what? Terapagos for Terra right now. Because Terra allows you to get rid of Snow, right? So that's why they decided to go for this lead. Cool, with that, I think I actually want to... I'll protect for... it's kind of weird, but I feel like I need to bring in Bolt now to take a big hit. And I'm going to Flare Blitz into their own Metagross. No Terra. Okay, so, yeah, I definitely want it to be where we get to a point where we don't have to deal with Terra. Yeah, okay, never mind. There is a Terra. So, yeah, I was expecting Snow to go away, and I didn't want to immediately lose that ability, right? Because Area 0, or Reset 0, rather. Terra 0 is what it's called. Is going to take away the weather. And then we had to deal with Starstorm immediately. Yeah. Decent amount of damage. And then Metagross goes for Body Press. I survived the double up, which is great. Metagross loses some of his HP thanks to Life Orb. And I get to recover with the leftovers. Maybe it gives me an additional turn. But we're going to try to knock out this Metagross as fast as possible. Here comes the Flare Blitz. Not enough to a KO, unfortunately. We do get some good damage off of there, though. And Raging Bolt does get to recover thanks to the leftovers here. I think here I do feel confident in Thunderclapping into Metagross. And if Terapagos protects, so be it. I'm going to fire off a Parting Shot. Metagross switches. Dang. Okay, great job. And we're going to have their own Incineroar come in. But it could be that Terapagos decides to take a more passive turn. Yeah, the Thunderclap unfortunately fails. That means I will be eaten up a double Starstorm. Okay, well done for the opponent. I think that if I targeted Terapagos, that would have been a lot more helpful for sure. Okay, this is going to be an interesting turn. I do feel confident bringing in Araquanid. I think Araquanid can survive at least one Terra Starstorm while I protect with Raging Bolt, right? So I definitely want to protect here. And I want to actually Bug Bite in Liquidation into Terapagos, try to put in as much damage as possible. Incineroar withdraws, which is totally fine here. I was not targeting it right now. And Metagross comes in. Metagross would have also been... Actually, no, I'm glad I didn't, because I would have gotten the KO on Metagross, but the problem here is I would have potentially given him a free switching back to Incineroar. Okay, so we do see the Earth Power coming out here, and so I am glad that I decided to protect, and I will Liquidation now. Alright, so it does a good amount of damage. The defense drop is nice, but it might not be enough to get the KO that I need. This is where it gets tricky, because Terapagos could easily Terra Starstorm, and then, I could Thunderclap. Because I don't want to Wide Guard immediately and lose Terapagos through that. Okay. If Terapagos Earth Powers me... You know what? I'm down to switch into Ninetales. And I will Liquidation into the Terapagos. I think a -1 is huge. Okay. Terapagos switches out is totally fine here. It probably does mean that Ninetales... Okay, so we're going to do a good amount of damage on Incineroar too, right? So Araquanid could easily switch back in. Alright, Raging Bolt could switch out for Araquanid here. And Metagross probably is going to get a KO on Ninetales if they decided to target it with a Steel-type move. But yeah, I mean, you can tell Terapagos puts a lot of pressure. Okay, Body Press, I'll take that comfortably. I'm okay with that. And Metagross continues to lose HP with the Life Orb. And then we'll just Liquidation here. We just knock out Incineroar, which is great. And that's a huge KO right off the bat. And Porygon Z comes out. Okay. Attack rises, which is good. Okay. I don't want to get baited into a potential, like, hey, Terapagos switches in. So I am going to Liquidation into Porygon Z. Yeah. Because the one thing I don't want them to do is switch in Terapagos at a certain time, and then immediately eat up, like, a really strong... Okay, cool. Meteor Mash comes out, we resist it, or we use Fake Out, or... Not Fake Out, but we... protected ourselves, and Porygon Z's defense falls here. Okay, so both opponents are pretty low on HP. I think now it's fine to fire up a Moonblast here. And I don't mind switching into Raging Bolt. Yeah, this is definitely a very close battle for sure. Yeah. The opponent definitely is respecting Araquanid's ability to use Wide Guard here. And we are learning the hard way that Terapagos is a very good Pokemon. Well, Bridge, hey, yo, what's up, Bridge? How you doing? Great to see you in the chat. You're too kind. Well, I appreciate Bridge's Pokemon Go. Let's go, Bridge edition. Oh, that's super cute. I love that. Thank you. That means a lot. But yeah, we're here playing the Blueberry Prologue here. I appreciate the hype here. But yeah, we're playing the Blueberry Prologue, and we're trying to get as far as we can. It's more just practice of Pokemon in general. It won't be the format that we'll play in Charlotte, but it is helpful before we get there. So Metagross is going to protect itself. Hey, no worries at all. Thunderbolt comes in. That's an incredible prediction. I mean, shout out to my opponent for that prediction. That's really great, but yeah, I am curious how they were able to do that. I guess Terra Water isn't uncommon, sure, but I think at least now I don't have to worry too much about Terrapagos Stellar doing super effective. I'm down to go for Liquid. This is a tough one, because yeah, Protect seems obvious, but I'm down to Liquidate into Metagross, and then say, hey, you know what, if you're going to attack with Porygon Z, I'm going to Thunderclap. Yeah, you have to switch out. Okay, so we are going to get the KO on Porygon Z, which is perfect. And then we are going to get a Liquidation off into Metagross. It'll be 2v1. Psychic Veins comes out. Does a lot of damage. Does Metagross faint from this? No. But we are going to get the knockout here. And then that means Metagross is out. Okay. This is where our trouble starts, because if you're Terrapagos, you could easily just say, hey, you know what? Well, Terrapagos has to attack. If I get this turn right, then I think we won. So, it feels predictable to go for Wide Guard and also Thunderclap, but I feel like we have to go for it. Because if I'm able to get Thunderclap, then I get one more Thunderclap and I win. And that's it. But if I fail to get Thunderclap, yeah. Because Terrapagos has that spread move. So we're going to activate the Wide Guard. Yeah, this is going to be a little bit dangerous. But if I'm able to survive one turn with Bolt, we get Thunderclap off. Oh, that barely tickles. Okay, we are protected against the Terra Starstorm. Yeah, we put a turtle. Yeah, exactly. All right, I learned you like turtles. So we put a turtle on your globe, which is the craziest here. That's interesting. So Terra Starstorm did not reset Hail. That's something I learned new. Terra Starstorm did not reset the Hail after Terrapagos came back in the field. It just resets it on the Terra. With that, I feel like protecting here is solid. Double protect? No, you know what? Terrapagos is kind of worried about I can easily Wide Guard continuously, so I am going to protect and I'm going to Liquidation. This is definitely a very tricky endgame. Because, yeah, at this point I would say, hey, you know what? I'm going to Earth Power. Okay. Oh, Tri-Attack is interesting as like a single target. Yeah, okay. Unfortunately, without a crit, I'm not going to be able to win this. I never really anticipated Terrapagos to be that good of a Pokemon. Like, you look at its stats and you're like, I don't really see it, but, I mean, they hammered home on, like, this Pokemon is busted, we just fed it so much, it's incredibly bulky. I think the HP stat is just insane, it's like 160, but yeah, you can just Earth Power here. And you never get rid of the Terra Boost, like, you'll always get that Terra Boost, and so, I think that's one of the things, too, it's like, Terrapagos actually doesn't need much special attack boot investment, it has a wide range of special attacks, because it simply just gets all those boosts permanently, right? Let the Terra boost help you out there, and instead just work on your bulk. So, it is pretty tough to deal with Terrapagos. I will say something like, if you can get it in the endgame in Parasong, great. But otherwise it is going to be tough. Alright, we're going to be blocking that individual. First off, how dare you? You are... There we go. Yeah, we don't like that spam. Get out of here. Get out of here with that spam here. We don't like that. I'll get that chat back up and running. Alright, so... Yeah, we're learning the hard way that Terrapagos is a really tough Pokemon. Luckily, I don't have to worry about too much about it in Charlotte, but... Yeah, I could imagine that's what makes it really strong. Is like, even outside of the whole resetting of the terrain and all that, just the idea of like, I just get natural Terra boost, and well, bot appeared, yeah, and we were able to knock it out. It was super effective. We were able to kind of deal with that too. So, alright, this format's going to be a little bit cleaner. We don't have to worry about Terrapagos now, but we got Golurk, Incineroar, Whimsicott, Venusaur, Walking Wake, and Torkoal. So it definitely seems like the opponent is leaning heavily towards Sun, both with Torkoal and Walking Wake. I do like Ninetales actually offensively. And I don't want to lead it, but I think I can bring it in the back. Araquanid does okay against these teams. I think that the main thing I'll have to watch out for is, like... Yeah, it's mainly Venusaur, honestly. Raging Bolt doesn't really hit many of the Pokemon for good damage, in my opinion. Primarina also feels relatively weak, so I don't mind like an Incineroar or Araquanid lead. If I can get Torkoal off the table pretty early, that can be helpful. And then from there, I can bring in Rillaboom and then the end game of Ninetales. Yeah, I'll go for that. Because we can also, like, fake out Venusaur and then go into Torkoal using, like, Liquidation, then the following turn, Protect, and use Parting Shot. And fake out, cycle fake outs and things like that from there. Incineroar also threatens Venusaur with good damage, too. So that can also be something we can play around with. Alright, so we are going to see the Torkoal Venusaur lead versus Incineroar and Araquanid. So I do feel pretty confident in going for, oh, that's so interesting. Torkoal's not Drought. Yeah, that changes a lot, actually. I still am down to fake out Venusaur, and I'm going to Liquidation to Torkoal. You have some safe switch-ins, but not anything that's super safe. Like, it would be Walking Wake at this moment, but that's interesting. I would have thought that Torkoal would have been Drought, especially with the team construct, but yeah, we'll see what happens here. I'm not too worried. Torkoal withdraws, sure. Walking Wake? Their own Incineroar, okay. This is going to do a lot of damage then. I get the attack drop, sure, but I actually do a considerable amount. Venusaur Terras, what would you Terra into? It would probably be... Ghost is the one that would get you away from Fake Out, but... Okay, sure. But that means Liquidation hits you harder. So I'm not too worried about this. You get one turn that you're able to... You would have to Sleep Powder... This turn, you would have to Sleep Powder Araquanid to really take an advantage. You get it. Okay. It does a lot of damage on Incineroar, sure. With Solar Beam? Alright, I'll take advantage of this. I'll just Parting Shot into Venusaur, and we're just going to switch out into Rillaboom. As we're able to take out the take the Solar Beam. I mean, Araquanid could take it relatively well too, but this just makes it a little bit easier. But yeah, Parting Shot into Venusaur, and then the following turn I can... Yeah, High Horsepower into... High Horsepower into Incineroar. I can bring back Araquanid and target down Venusaur. And yeah, Venusaur goes for Solar Beam, but I don't care at this point. I take that comfortably. And then Incineroar Parting Shots into me, which is fine. I'm going to Parting Shot right back, right? So. And that's actually helpful to see that they have the faster Incineroar. I like the idea of Ghost Terra on Venusaur. They have the wrong ability on Torkoal, unfortunately, though. Torkoal comes back out, which is fine. I'll just fake out into Torkoal again. And then we get a Parting Shot into Venusaur. Okay. So I think in this case, I could send an Araquanid. I could also use Ninetales to set up Aurora Veil. Yeah, I don't mind doing that. I think the main thing that I want to be mindful of is making sure that Ninetales is sticking around well after, just so it can... so Rillaboom gets some HP recovery. But yeah, I want to make sure that I have Ninetales ready to go against... Walking Wake. So 9/10 lets us Aurora Veil. Venusaur technically could learn Weather Ball, so we might, yeah, so we're going to see the Weather Ball and go into Rillaboom, but at this point, Rillaboom is going to take that like a champ. Yeah, I don't care. And Torkoal flinches. Okay, now the question, because Rillaboom, okay, so I could use Moonblast into Venusaur. Rillaboom's Rock Terra. Right, okay. So I'm definitely down to Moonblast into... I do need to watch out for the... Well, the Fire type moves aren't going to be that strong, right? So Moonblast into Venusaur feels pretty safe. And then I could... yeah, bring in an Incineroar. Yeah, thanks to Assault Vest, I barely take any damage, and the lowering special attack is also super helpful. So, yeah, I wouldn't mind getting Venusaur off the board, and that coming up will be really helpful. So, Venusaur is going to lower its attack, whatever. We get a fire off a Moonblast. Alright, so it does a decent amount, but not that strong. We are going to eat this Sludge Bomb, thanks to the Assault Vest, looking pretty solid. Eruption actually is going to hit hard. Okay, so I did not play that as well as I should have. Okay. Against Wake, Rillaboom still looks really good. I just need to make sure I position myself for it. But having Aurora Veil up is going to be helpful. Alright, with that, I do feel confident firing off a Liquidation into the Torkoal slot. I should try to knock out Venusaur, honestly. I can still fake out. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll get the KO on Torkoal later. Yeah, that Sludge Bomb is barely doing anything. We get a fire off this really strong Liquidation. Venusaur's off the board. Venusaur would have been really annoying for Rillaboom to go up against, so I'm glad they just deal with it. And then Torkoal flinches. Okay. Incineroar comes back out, sure. I think in this case I'm down to Protect with Arachnid, and I don't mind Flare Blitzing into the Ona Incineroar. It's not going to do much damage, but I could also use Wide Guard, but I don't think Eruption at this point is going to do that much, yeah. And I don't feel like switching to Rillaboom either. Yeah. And here comes Eruption, yeah. That was the main reason. I just didn't want to take too much damage from the Eruption itself. That was a crit. That was the fun. Snow's over, but I still have Aurora Veil up. And then we're going to get the Speed Order. So their Incineroar is faster than mine. And Grassy Train also expires too. Alright, I think in this case I do feel confident with Liquidation into Torkoal. And I don't mind now Parting Shot with Incineroar. Okay, yeah, that tickled. Yeah, I guess my main fear here is that, sure, I'm bringing in Rillaboom, and I do get to resist the... Not resist, but I do... Well, actually, I should be... If I hit with the Liquidation first, and Eruption is tickles, right? So I'm totally fine with this. Even at -1, this should hurt. Yeah, that does a lot. We are going to get Heat Wave, though, which isn't great. So, great awareness from the opponent. Crit on Arachnid. Come on, stop with these crits now. But Rillaboom is able to recover some HP here. Alright, so it does seem like Torkoal isn't choiced, which is helpful to note. So I'm down to Liquidation. And I'm down to High Horsepower into Incineroar. Expecting Incineroar wanting to switch out. Torkoal Protect, sure. So that's a knockout on Incineroar. Yeah, I was figuring out what that final Pokemon is, which is going to be tough. Liquidation goes off. I'm able to, I run into Protect with that. But yeah, the one Pokemon I am a little bit worried about is Walking Wake, because my endgame against Walking Wake doesn't look that great. Oh, it's just Golurk. Okay, in that case, I do feel confident with both Arachnid and Rillaboom ending this. They have used their Terra with Venusaur, so Liquidation into Torkoal is pretty free, and I'm actually down to switch out Rillaboom for Incineroar. I don't need Fake Out anymore, and Woodhammer is going to be enough to power through, and this will make it a little bit easier to deal with Golurk as well. So, White Smoke activates again for the billionth time. But we get a lower Golurk's attack, which is helpful. Golurk uses Rock Slide, so that actually is a pretty strong attack, but thanks to Aurora Veil. But the flinch, no, that was literally the worst that could have happened. Okay. Not over yet, but now we gotta play a little bit carefully. It looks like Golurk has one way he can come back from this, which is infinite Rock Slide flinches. I think in this case, I do feel confident with... I'll get a Terra later. I'll White Guard for now. That's a weird way to play this, but... I think I'll Protect for now. How many turns of Grassy Terrain do I have left? 2 turns of Grassy Terrain. Okay. I'll Water Terror, I'll Liquidation into Golurk, and I will Fake Out into Torkoal. This means I won't take now I resist the Rock type move. Oh man, this was definitely a tough one. I'm glad that Walking Wake didn't make an appearance. I feel like I definitely would have lost a lot of momentum. Torkoal Protects, which is a good move there. I'll Fake Out, but it'll fail, which is fine. Golurk goes to Rock Slide. I'll resist. Alright, I won't resist. But I do get the Liquidation off into Golurk. Okay, cool. So I can't be infinitely flinched to death. Alright, a critical hit on top of that. I think that was overkill with how big of a boost that was. But yeah, we'll be able to win this for now. Torkoal got a lot of HP back. Aurora Veil's over, which definitely was helpful. But yeah, this game now we're just helping hand into Liquidation's game over. Yeah, important. Cancels. Woo! That was a tough one for sure. Definitely areas to improve on how I could have played that one better for sure. I'll rewatch it, but I think the thing that bailed me out was definitely the last Pokemon's Golurk. I was back in my head, Walking Wake. Oh my gosh, Walking Wake is gonna be scary. I probably would have still. Yeah, I probably would have still kept my Terra as Water Terra, and then have Rillaboom just use Grassy Glides, but, yeah, I was a little bit worried that Arachne would have to take too much damage in the endgame, so, yeah, we got really lucky there. That was a good battle. Trapagos, yep, I called it. Oh my goodness, Trapagos is back, but we got a different mix in the party. We got 2 Intimidate and Fake Out users with Hitmontop and Incineroar, Metagross, Trapagos, Porygon 2, and Primarina. I think that, I mean, again, really, this kind of construction of team is really tough because what does Trapagos excel in? It's very bulky, and it doesn't really need much of the special attack boost because you're going to get that with the Terra boost, right? So, if you're ever looking for a really strong Pokemon, as a whole Trapagos X is a lot more stronger than I thought it would be. And also, too, its only weakness, because it's natural and normal type, is Fighting-type Pokemon, and it's really hard to fit Fighting-type Pokemon on a team, or Fighting-type moves. Fairy's just really good, so Trapagos really gets to thrive because of it. Funny enough, we're actually seeing the reverse of what happened in Gen 1, where Gen 1, Fighting-type moves weren't really great because Psychics were so good, and Psychics being really good helped Normals become really good, and here it's like that, but Fairy types, right? Oh yeah, Team Technician. I feel like Team Technician definitely would be really strong here. You do that with Fake Out, and you can even do that with the Tail Slap loaded dice. Oh man, you're just you're just pouring so much damage. It's gonna be crazy. Alright, we gotta decide what to do, and I haven't even made a decision. So we'll go with Ninetales, because why not? We'll go with Incineroar, we'll go with Primarina, and we're gonna go with Raging Bolt. I don't think that this is actually really great. Hey, no worries. Well, hey, if you want me to help build that out, I'm more than happy to. Basically, what we can do is just take the rest of the meta, and then we just swap one Fake Out user, like Babio, and a team that would have used Incineroar. Hey, no worries. We would probably swap that out for we could easily swap that out for, like, Incineroars. Iron Palm or something. Alright, so we're gonna see the Terra shift Terapagos already. That doesn't really make a difference. But we do have the board. Actually, I think it does tell us something. Does it tell Trapagos' speed? I don't know. But I am going to Freeze Dry Primarina, and I am going to Fake Out their Trapagos. Yeah, Apom and Ambipom are in Scarlet and Violet. They were, yeah, the grass. Yeah, so Apollo, if you don't know, Bridge is actually he collects. Bridge Apollo is a big shiny hunter. Like this boy will beat us in every single shiny race, and I'll be like well ahead, and Apollo's like, nah, man, I beat you. And then Bridge actually collects shiny Pokemon that are grass types. So that's kind of like his thing, where Bridge is really focused on, like, let me try to grab as many shiny Pokemon that are grass, and try to complete that deck too. So yeah, y'all would be really good friends, being, shiny friends right there. So Drapagos is going to Terraform Zero. Yep, going to stop the snow here. And Protect, actually. Okay, so I do like that. I wonder what Primarina's then going to go for. Probably just Hyper Voice, right? Alright, we get a fire off this Freeze Dry, so do a decent amount of damage, not much. And we're gonna see Charm. Okay, I'm not opposed to that. I feel okay. I think, who do I have? I brought Bolt, right? Yeah. Their Primarina's their biggest threat. I'm down to Aurora Veil. Freeze Dry, and I'll Parting Shot into their Drapagos. Basically just trying to lower Drapagos' effectiveness here. That's kind of the main thing. Alright, so Drapagos actually switches out. Oh, yeah, no, congrats on the, completing the Bulbasaur line. That's awesome. Porygon 2 uses Trace. Actually, my Porygon 2 from Salt Lake used Trace as well. Dang, yeah. And Primarina also switches out, as well. So, they're going to bring in Hitmontop. Okay, so we actually get a... They're really focused in on lowering Incineroar's attack here, which is fine by me. I get a fire off this Freeze Dry. Does decent damage. And then Incineroar is going to go ahead and go with Parting Shot. My guess here is that they're going to be pivoting into trying to set up Trick Room. So I think with that, I don't mind bringing in... Well, you can only fake out one of my two Pokemon, right? So I'm down to use Primarina right now and try to Moonblast into their Hitmontop. So I'm going to Moonblast into Hitmontop, and I'm going to... I think I'm actually going to set up Calm Mind. I'll do that. Knowing that Trick Room is going to go up, I am not too worried about the speeds right now. I think the main thing is I need to be mindful of... Okay, sure. Decent amount of damage on Hitmontop. Hitmontop eats the Citrus Berry. Totally fine here. And then Porygon 2 is going to be setting up Trick Room, right? Okay. So, Porygon 2 could have Eerie Impulse, which is a move that I remember. Yeah, you gotta go slow! And just slowing down the game right there. Porygon 2 could probably have Eerie Impulse. I don't mind Hyper Voicing as well to get a +1 in my special attack. And then it might pressure Porygon 2 to use Eerie Impulse again. Porygon 2 could also switch out. But I think in this case, Coaching on Porygon 2? What does Porygon 2 know? I feel like the opponent's really invested in lowering, upping their defenses here. But, because we saw Intimidate, we see Charm. And I think the main thing is they're really worried about... I think they really especially invested in Drapagos. But they are... Yeah, I don't... Okay. Yeah, Giga... That would be weird, though. Because, Porygon 2... Terra Porygon 2 back in the day was really... was like a surprise factor. And you do something like that, right? Giga Impact or something. And kind of lower that. Drapagos comes back out. I do feel confident in switching out Ninetales right now for Bolt. And I kind of want to target into Porygon, into Drapagos with Moonblast, trying to get as much damage as I can on it. Bolt, also, I don't think I need a Terra right now. And that's one of the scary things. Like, I wish I could Terra, but you can't. But none of my Terras really help out, except for probably to avoid Moonblast. But I could... Oh, that's clean. Look at that. We're doing some clean damage with that Moonblast. I think a double up, Thunderbolt into Moonblast should help us out here. And Bolt can't get paralyzed either. Alright, so Tropicos fires off Terra Starstorm. Yeah, we're going to try to use their Trick Room against them. We take that pretty comfortably. Tropicos hasn't had enough boost. Yeah, I can definitely see that too, where they're really worried about Incineroar and definitely trying to get that defense boost. But yeah, I brought all special attackers in this fight, so I'm down to just keep at it. Tropicos could definitely protect here. I can definitely see that, but then you have to ask yourself, what is Porygon 2 doing here that will help turn the tide? Probably undo Trick Room, right? That would definitely do it. Porygon 2 switches, which is fine, into Primarina again, right? Okay. And I think if Primarina protects, if Tropicos protects here, no, it doesn't. Okay, this might be I might just get a big knockout here. Yep. Woo! We did it, guys! We have beat the Turtle on Turtle! Can we get some hype in the chat for that? Let's go! Oh my goodness. Woo! Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it was definitely something that just didn't help their game plan. And they really focused in on, I need to get my physical hitters out here. Smack down like a Koopa Troopa. Absolutely. Porygon 2 traces, and it gets Liquid Voice, which doesn't help it out at all. We have one more turn of Trick Room. I'm down to switch over from Raging Bolt into Ninetales. And I will go ahead and fire off a... Calm Mind at this point seems kind of redundant. I don't mind putting in as much damage as possible on Primarina. Because I don't think Porygon 2 can 1v4 my team. And especially too, I get Aurora Veil up and things like that. Like, I can... I mean, basically, I'll just do enough damage. One thing I do need to remember for Porygon 2 does get access to recover. But, like I said, if I pour in as much damage on Primarina as possible, not bad, but everyone's paralyzed. And then, yeah, Porygon 2 just uses just vanilla Terra Blast, which is pretty good, yeah, if you decide to Terra. But at this point, we should be pretty solid. So, I'm down to fire off an Aurora Veil, and I will Hyper Void. Alright. I think I'll protect. I'll give myself a turn. Porygon 2 could reset up Trick Room, but it feels not good for it to set up Trick Room. Because then Primarina outspeeds, right? So their Primarina has to target down my Primarina. Or Porygon 2 targets down my Primarina, sure. And the Primarina goes for Moonblast, but the special attack lowering isn't fun. But Primarina's reveals that it's Life Orbed. Okay. So this is definitely not over yet, just because I don't want Porygon 2 to find a way to run away with this. So I think what I want to do, obviously Fake Out, but I think I'm going to Moonblast into Porygon 2, and I'll Fake Out into Primarina. Excuse me. And then the following turn, if they decide to use... yeah, so we Fake Out, we get the knockout on Primarina, so we're good there. I don't want to Terra any of my Pokemon, really. It depends on what what Porygon 2 reveals, but I don't think Terrain really makes a difference. Yeah, it's going to be Thunder Wave. And I don't want to Terra Raging Bolt, because I don't want to get hit by the Thunder Wave, so... I imagine their strategy is, how long can we outlast? Well, the whole... yeah, I mean, I can just lower Porygon 2's damage output, right? So I'm going to Moonblast. And the idea behind this is try to get a special attack drop. Yeah, I mean, it was, what? Thunder Wave, Terra Blast, Recover, Trick Room. So their only offensive option is Terra Blast. We already saw it used once. If you can't beat 3 Pokemon. I'm not going to Terra Raging Bolt either. And I can set up multiple Aurora Veils. Like, I'm not going to let you win this. I get the recovery thanks to leftovers. And how many turns? I got Snow, one more turn, but Aurora Veil is going to last. So, I'll switch back into Incineroar, and I'll just protect. Cool. Yeah, and that was the nice thing. Yeah, to Bridget's point, the fear of physical attacks were non-existent, and the opponent over-indexing on that really hurt them. Because I brought both. I think it definitely would have been a difference if I did bring, like if I did bring, whatchamacallit, Araquanid, for instance. That honestly would have made a huge difference. The charm, the coaching, those types of moves, but because they overtly invested in that, it honestly did not. I did not care. I'm down for Fake Out here, and I'm down to use Thunderbolt into yeah. So I get the Fake Out off, and I get to fire off Thunderbolt. Yeah, there's not much. And I'm gonna just keep on lowering your special attack and with Parting Shot. So I'm gonna Parting Shot here. I'm gonna switch you out to Ninetales. How many turns of Royal I got? I got 3 more turns. Yeah, I think protecting is fine. Yeah, I mean, why risk anything? No crits or anything. Not just make it as easy as possible. Sure, you Terra Blast. Who cares? That did 21 damage. Did 21 damage. We're fine. That's the only offensive move you have too. So, yeah, why bother? Yeah, we're just standing tall, standing strong. So we don't have to do anything crazy. We'll get this KO soon enough. Yeah, I'll just protect here, and I'll win back Incineroar. And I still have my Citrus Berry. Yeah, the opponent recognizes that, and they decided to forfeit. So, Porygon 2, more like Porygon the Grave. Yeah. Oh, man, yeah. And unfortunately, that's one of the challenges Porygon 2 is that offensively it doesn't offer as much as you'd like it to. And because we were able to get some clean KOs, we were able to beat them. I think that Thunder Wave honestly worked against them, because setting up Trick Room and having Thunder Wave meant that I am slower in Trick Room. Now, some full paras, that definitely is scary, but yeah, I think I would rework that Porygon 2 moveset a little bit. Alright, we got against Wolfie. Wolfie comes up with us, not Wolflick, that would be different, with Lapras, Flygon, Kingdra, Galarian Slowking, rather, Terapagos, and Alcremie. So this is going to be pretty interesting with all the Decorate shenanigans. We also have a chance of, yeah, not our Wolfie. We also have the chance of Fake Out. Oh no, I'm so sorry, that's on my end. I'm thinking ahead. We have the Decorate shenanigans. Dragon Shear could also be a thing. And then potential control weather. Not, the one Pokemon that I would be a little bit worried about Araquanid going up against is the Lapras. Rillaboom looks pretty good, except for Galarian Slowking, but I do have high force power. It's Terapagos. Yeah, Terapagos, see, if you don't have a super effective attack, I mean, it's really tough to take down. I'm down to bring in Ninetales Incineroar early in the game. Oh, you know what? I could bring in Raging Bolt Incineroar. Yeah, because I can get a pretty strong Dragon-type attack off of one of the Pokemon. I'm down for that. Oh, you know what? I'm down for Primarina Incineroar with Rillaboom and Ninetales in the back, dropping Raging Bolt. Yeah, because they have a lot of good dragons, and I mean, they have Lapras, Ice-type moves, the 2 dragons, and Alcremie, right? So it's going to be a lot harder for us to kind of navigate and say, hey, we can immediately go for Raging Bolt stuff. There's just so much pressure on the field. I do like its survivability against Terapagos, but it definitely is tough. Alright, so we're actually going to get Lapras and Seadra versus Incineroar and Primarina. So this does look pretty comfortable for us to Fake Out. We could go and Fake Out Kingdra and then attack Lapras, but I'm down for... I don't want Lapras to go crazy, so I'm down to Fake Out Lapras and then Moonblast immediately into Seadra. I can definitely see the Lapras being like the whole Dragon Shear, and I don't want you to get the Sniper boost here. So Seadra goes for Scald, sure. I took a lot of damage actually, which isn't great. We do get the Citrus Berry, so we live for another day. But knocking out Seadra is going to be huge. Fire off this Moonblast. Perfect. Alright, Seadra's off the board. Yeah, I'm down for that trade. I think it paves the way to make it a little bit easier for the other Pokemon I got. Lapras also has Water Absorb, which is something I need to be mindful of, which isn't great, but I think Rillaboom is definitely going to be an MVP here. It's the Terapagos stuff I'm so worried about. It's so tough to deal with, yeah. And here we go. Terapagos is up in the game. Alright, here's what we're going to say. If you let me get this parting shot off, I'm going to lower Terapagos' special attack. Otherwise, we'll be fine here. We also don't want to leave Lapras on the field too long. Lapras can use Parasol, and I'd hate for them to get some good KOs and then immediately Parasol in the ending game. Right, Parasol's on a timer. So, yeah, if I did actually prepare for this format, Terapagos definitely would be on the team. It's really good. Terapagos decides not to Terra and just goes for Vanilla Starstorm. We like to see it. And Lapras is slower than Incineroar, that's good to know. Okay. So we are able to lower Terapagos' attack and special attack. That'll make it a little bit easier for us to say, hey, you know what? You might not want to stick around for a while. I feel like Rillaboom would be really nice to threaten their Lapras immediately. And I'll go for Rillaboom for now. Hey, no worries at all, Apollo. You gotta show me what you knock out after you're done with the Photoshop shenanigans here. And Lapras activates Surf, which is fine by me. Rillaboom takes that like a champ. Terapagos makes it where it's not very effective. But Terapagos doesn't really... unless you have Absorb Bolt? But that's attack, right? Nah, okay, nothing happens. Yeah, you have leftovers. Okay, so Terapagos is built on being super defensive here. Okay. Terapagos crit Terra to get rid of grassy terrain. But I also... I have a really strong hit on Lapras with Woodhammer. And I'm down to bring in Incineroar now. I didn't get my Throat Spray activated. And knocking out Lapras early is going to be nice, too. That means the following turn I have access to use Fake Out. Terapagos might be like, I don't want to Terra because I'm going to protect. I fear Fake Out. And yeah, we just get Vanilla Starstorm, which is going to be strong. Not thanks to the special attack drop, it's not that strong. And we get a Woodhammer here. Woo! Let's go! Knocked out Lapras. We're doing great. Let's go. Some commanding KOs here. Okay. That was a great protect. I'm a great switch out. And Incineroar lasting for a while. And I'm glad that we got that KO on Kingdra pretty early. So we took down two big threats here. Lapras is gone. Kingdra's done. And the last Pokemon is actually Flygon. So this looks really great for Lapras. Not Lapras. This looks really great for Ninetales to end the game here. I'm down for Woodhammer into Terapagos and Fake Out. I think that if we knock out Terapagos now, we're going to be in a really commanding position. And I think we can do this. Yeah, I am curious to see if they decide to protect or not. They could also use the Terra Zero deal to get rid of my terrain. But I wouldn't be too opposed to it. Because that means that Ninetales, if they knock out Incineroar, then Ninetales gets a free switch in. Flygon's threatened. I get her set up a War Veil. Okay, so we're going to do the Terra. This is probably the... Okay, yeah. So Terra Zero activates, sure. But if you are attacking this turn, that means I do get a free Fake Out into Woodhammer. Still does a lot of damage, which is always appreciated. I think the one thing I need to be mindful of with Flygon, it just like pops away. That's so sad. The one thing I do need to watch... Oh, it's just Outrage. Alright, so, funny enough, I will switch into Ninetales, but it'll be a weird switch in. Does a lot of damage, which is good. I'll get my KO. I knocked myself out here. And then Ninetales comes back in. Yeah, Terapagos revealing the leftovers again. But yeah, I have no incentive to Terra. Alright, Ninetales comes out, and here I feel very confident in just firing off an Aurora Veil. And if I get it off, I'm going to Flare Blitz into Terapagos. So yeah, Terrapagos probably was going to use Starstorm, but Flygon, if Flygon targeted Ninetales, yeah, fine. Yeah, so you're going to Starstorm here. But Aurora Veil should help us survive, which is great. Yeah, look how little damage we took, which is perfect. Cool, look at that. Alright, so Terrapagos is going to be healing up a lot, but we can work through that. I think a combination of Hyper Voice and Freeze Dry into... do I need a knockout Flygon now? You're still an Outrage, right? No, I think it stops you. So I am going to Freeze Dry. I forget that interaction. I think you're... Because you target it into me, it gets to reset. So Freeze Dry, Hyper Voice. Yeah, I just don't want to mess up that. So 4 times is super effective. Great. Flygon is knocked out. And we get another Starstorm, but thanks to Aurora Veil being up, we should tank this relatively well. Yeah, that did 15 points of damage on Primarina. So, we're good! The Aurora Veil definitely was clutch for us. Yeah, I think in this battle, us getting... Well, Incineroar surviving and us being able to pick up some pretty big knockouts early on, like knocking out Kingdra, knocking out Lapras was huge, right? And their Terrapagos wasn't really... very tanky. Oh, and the special attack drop. Okay, so Terrapagos uses Ancient Power, but at this point, like, it's not going to do anything. Yeah, it got me to yellow, but what was it? 80, 90, 100. That was 31 points of damage, right? And we got the KO. So overall, we just had a lot more defensive buffer and a lot more offensive presence there too. So the fake outs really did help. We were able to just like deny Lapras and immediately knock out Kingdra. The parting shot into Terrapagos was huge, and also just getting the one-hit knockout on Lapras and putting a lot of damage on Terrapagos as well. Yeah, it was funny because the Wood Hammer damage actually was nice. I got a free switch into Ninetales, which is huge. That was what I was looking for too. So it was like, oh, I wasn't expecting to switch in with Rillaboom Ninetales that way, but it worked out. Yeah. So yeah, really great battle. And yeah, and I think that's also one of the fundamental challenges with Terrapagos is just it is very defensive. Maybe they overtly had too much defense without much backing in its offense. Alright, so this is a pretty interesting team with Meowstic as their Fake Out and Prankster user. Hitmonlee, which user uses Unburdened with Fake Out to use a normal gem and then becomes super fast. Iron Crown, Alchemy, and Walking Wake. One thing also too is that Meowstic, because Indeedee's not in this format, Meowstic could also support Iron Crown with Expanding Force, and it might support Walking Wake with Sunny Day. I'm not sure yet if it does or not, but those are just some other considerations to be mindful of as we go into this fight. With that, we don't, oh, and a quick guard too to block Fake Out, which is a thing. Okay. I definitely feel like Primarina is a very strong Pokemon here. It hits a lot of the Pokemon for pretty strong damage. Trying to figure out how to position it. I think getting rid of Meowstic early is going to be huge. So I'm down for, honestly, a Ninetales, like... I want to say Ninetales Rillaboom. I don't need the attack drops, but rather, like, hey, if I'm threatened with priority or other big moves, then Meowstic is going to be distracted, and we'll have to try to answer that issue, and I'll be able to knock it out from there. Hitmonlee is also pretty good because it doesn't, I mean, as a fighting type, it helps resist dark types. I think Hitmonlee might be a great answer to the Terrapagos challenges again if you're running into that. Which is an odd thing to say, but oh, there is one other strategy. Hitmonlee could be the Lumberry Swagger set with Meowstic to use Swagger on it. So just another thing that, yeah, okay. So this lead is interesting. Because if that's the set, Meowstic also has access to Fake Out as well. So does Hitmonlee. This is a very interesting, like, first match here. So I'm down to fire off Aurora Veil. You don't have a way to deny weather easily. And I honestly want to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to commit Woodhammer to Hitmonlee. Just get it off. So Hitmonlee fakes out, uses normal gem. Okay, so this is the set it's going to use. Okay. I'm not too worried about that. Psychic Train gets set up. Alright. Now the question is, you're faster, sure. But you have to ask yourself, do you have the offensive ability to get the KOs that you need here, right? So I'm down to Moonblast into Hitmonlee. That kind of feels a little obvious. I'm down to Moonblast into Meowstic, and I'll bring in Raging Bolt. Thanks to Aurora Veil, I do, yeah, do you feel lucky? Yeah, you're faster, but you have to ask yourself, do you feel lucky, Punk? No, I feel that 100% Bridge. Like, yeah, the Unburdened stuff isn't anything net new, but I do wonder if Hitmonlee's gonna Terra now. It decides not to, it goes for just Rock Slide. Okay, Raging Bolt missing is huge. See, like, Meowstic knows Expanding Force. But again, thanks to Aurora Veil, I barely take any damage. And that was a crit on Meowstic. And I'll lower its special attack, so that's not great for it. But yeah, I mean, if you look at that turn, what you saw was, it was just an impressive amount of damage. Now knowing that Hitmonlee is going to probably use Rock Slide, I don't mind Moonblasting into it, and I'm going to... What can I do to switch in? Nothing resists electric, right? So Moonblast into Hitmonlee, and then Thunderbolt into Meowstic. I get rid of Psychic Terrain, and that makes it so much easier. Meowstic is going to switch out, but nothing that you're going to send out is going to be able to take this decently well. So, is that Crown? Sure. Boost Energy activates. Yeah, you're going to exert a lot more offensive pressure. Special attack is heightened. Hitmonlee uses Close Combat. Good recognition, but again, Aurora Veil really just helping out here. I'm going to knock out Hitmonlee easily. And that's a good KO. Now, the question I have to ask myself is, do you bring out Meowstic again? Right? Because then the mind games become... Well, let's see how much damage this does first. Ah, that does a lot. Okay. Yeah, the mind games become, do you predict I switch into Rillaboom now and reset up Psychic Terrain? Because if the answer is yes, then... Okay, so you don't. And it's just, Walking Wake. Alright. I feel confident here going for Freeze Dry into Wake. Yeah, I'll go for Freeze Dry into Wake. And I'll bring back into Rillaboom. I should be able to take at least one Draco Meteor, especially too because we're under Aurora Veil. And you can kind of see, like, just like having screens is so helpful here. Yeah, Grass Fusion goes up. And we're going to see the Terra. Probably Terra Fire on Walking Wake. Oh, it's on Crown. Okay. And it's Terra Psychic. Trying to get as much damage from Expanding Force as possible. Okay. Wake goes for Flamethrower, predicting the Rillaboom switch in. But again, I barely take any damage. I get a fire off this Freeze Dry. Wake took a lot. And then we get Expanding Force, and they're going after Rillaboom here. But yeah, me surviving is huge. Yeah, I think what now I want to do is Moonblast into Crown. I could Fake Out, but honestly, it feels more valuable. Yeah, I like Moonblast in the Crown for sure, but I think Fake Out is kind of obvious. Like, I don't want to pick off Wake if Wake decides to stay in. Okay. Crit on Wake, but then if Crown decides to attack, who are you going to target? Well, I'm faster anyway, so I decided Moonblast. Not enough for a KO. Special attack dropping is huge, though. And Tachyon Thunder comes out into Ninetales, sure. So Ninetales was knocked out, but I think we did something very important. We lowered Wake's special attack. Snow's over, but I still have the Aurora Veil up for 3 more turns. And I think Primarina honestly looks pretty strong here. Okay. I'm gonna go for Hyper Voice. And I'm gonna go for Glide into... Yeah, I'm gonna go for Glide into Crown. Yeah, you can only do one of two, right? So sure, you can set up Psychic Drain. I did lower your special attack, so Primarina should be able to survive one Expanding Force, even with Terra. Yeah, I comfortably survived that. Sure, I lost Rillaboom, but the Hyper Voice should do a lot of damage here. Yeah, that's just a KO, a crit on Iron Crown. I don't think I needed that crit at that moment. I don't think. But yeah, that just accelerates the pace of this battle. Cool. Throat Spray activates, and yeah, I have a fully healthy Raging Bolt here. So pretty straightforward. You just Moonblast, and then I think Thunderbolt is, yeah, a little bit stronger with Thunderbolt when we end it. Yeah, sure, that's cute, but Psychic Terrain's up, so the Fake Tear Shenanigans doesn't really help you out here. The opponent just saying they forfeited without running away. So, yeah, great battle overall. I think the one area for play that I could have improved on was, I could have Water Terrored, technically. I think at that point, none of my Terrors would have served me, and so Water Terror would have allowed me to survive one more attack from Crown. But I don't think it was a big deal, because, like, if you looked at Expanding Force and how much it did, even if I didn't get the crit, and let's say the crit mattered and I needed that to KO, then the following turn I would just Protect Bolt, and then, because of how little that Expanding Force did, Protect Bolt, and then Hyper Voice again, and I would have gotten the KO I needed. So, I wasn't really in any position where I was, like, threatened. So, yeah. The crit just accelerated the match if it did matter, but yeah. Yeah, it was us being mindful of, like, yeah, we knew how to defend against Psychic Train, and the Aurora Veil really helped us out. Alright, Lucky777 has some pretty impressive Pokemon here. Terapagos is coming up, but we also see Talonflame, which is pretty rare. Alolan Muck with Power of Alchemy could be pretty scary to go up against. Arcaludon, we have Crown and Walking Wake, so no immediate ways to set up Crown, but I do think that Crown with Tachyon Cutter is kind of big. It would make Ninetales' job a little bit scarier. Talonflame also could use Sunny Day to enable Wake. There is no immediate, like, this Pokemon knows Psychic Terrain, though, so we probably don't have to worry about the Expanding Force as much. Talonflame probably has Covert Cloak. I'm trying to think what else. Oh, and Ghost Terra. Alright, I think with that, I'm down for, like, an Incineroar Raging Bolt lead. I think if we get it to the right position, Araquanid can clean up, and I'm down for Primarina as well. Primarina looks good against everything except potential Electro Shot from Arcaludon and Poison. But so does Rillaboom have problems with Poison. I would have to Terra Steel, Terra Rock, which doesn't feel great. Alright, we'll go for this route. Yeah, Terapagos is interesting because just the threat of Terapagos on the field forces you to think, like, I can't just automatically Terra. Because all the downsides of Stellar Terra, Terapagos really doesn't have any of those fears, right? It feels weird to not go for the Alolan Ninetales route, but we'll try it. Okay, Crown and Wake. I'm not too mad about this. Versus Bolt and Roaring Moon. So, alright, Raging Bolt and Incineroar. Why did I say Roaring Moon? You reveal Booster, and your Booster is Special Attack. Okay, I'll have to keep that in mind. I definitely want to Fake Out here into Wake, and I want to do as much damage as possible into Crown using Thunderbolt. They don't have any ground switching, so anything they switch in will... Oh, okay. I didn't realize that Crown got Quick Guard. Cool. Now we learned something new. But what would... Oh, Special Attack. Ooh, that's Draco coming my way, isn't it? Oh, it's just Steam. Oh, I don't care. I will happily take that for a learning lesson. Sure. I mean, that does a lot of damage, right? Which is great. I had Rillaboom, Araquanid, and Primarina in the back. Okay. I'll Parting Shot into Walking Wake if I get it. I'll Terra Fairy, and I'll Thunderbolt into Crown again. I think the one thing I opened myself up for is that Raging Bolt is actually pretty weak against Terapagos now, which, yeah, and it's such an interesting dynamic too, yeah. We're luckily not going to be playing that format for a very long time, but yeah, that's pretty interesting to see. But I don't have any other additional priority. I guess Thunderclap, but I don't care. And at this point, Incineroar has done its job. I don't want to deal with Crown against the other Pokemon. There you go. Crown's knocked out. Yeah, I do open up myself for dealing with Terapagos in the long run, but I think Primarina looks pretty comfortable here. Yeah, because alright, so Terapagos comes out, sure. Because Primarina could get like a really important like special attack boost. And then from there we can kind of target down Terapagos. So I'm down for Hyper Voice and Protect for now. And then I can Thunderclap / using Moonblast into their Walking Wake, right? Wake doesn't necessarily have a strong hit against Primarina. It would have to commit Terra. And if it commits Terra, that means Terapagos committing Terra is less likely. Wake switching out is actually great. That means I do more damage on... Yeah, I won't do as much impressive damage on Carlodon, but I'll do some damage on it with this, the Hyper Voice. It'll still resist it, but not 4 times resist. And plus, Carlodon's known to have really weak special defense, so that helps. So, yeah, Terapagos goes off. Because it definitely wants to fire off those Terra Star Storms now. Because I Terra'd. Which is... Yeah, here's Star Storm. I've done this... I've seen a couple battles with Star Storm. I take it decently well with Primarina. Yeah, okay, that's a decent amount. So I'm going to fire off this Hyper Voice. Not going to do too much in our Carlodon, which is fine. I get Throat Spray activated. And it is not Stalwart. Not Stamina. Won't make too much of a difference in this battle, but I'm down to fire off a Moonblast into Terapagos and also Thunderclap it. Alright, does a decent amount. And then here's Starstorm. This is actually going to do a lot of damage to the Raging Bolt now. But I'm hopeful if I can knock out Terapagos, it makes the rest of the game easier. Yeah, oh, we just get a double up. I'm okay with that. In the end, at the end of the day, you know, not the end of the world. I am worried about Electro Shot, but that's the only thing. But this +1 Moonblast. Ah, we were so close for that KO too. Dang. Okay, yeah, no, that would have definitely helped us out. I am a little bit worried because it's pretty easy for a Carlodon to target down Primarina. So I definitely feel like I'm pressured to use Liquidation. I mean, I can use Bug Bite into Terapagos. Ooh, this actually is gonna hurt. Oh, that's not too bad. I'll take that. Yeah, okay, so you ran into the Protect, right? Dang, okay. I'm kind of pinned down here. So I get to knock out a Terapagos, which is great. But one of the problems here is that with the charge up of Electro Shot, that means the next turn one of my Pokemon has to eat it. I've already committed my Terra, because Grass Terra would have been the move. And Arachnid versus Arcalodon does not look great. And against Walking Wake, Arachnid does not look good either. Having Ninetales would have helped for sure, but yeah, I was... What else on their team scared me off of Ninetales? Muck. That was it. Muck also was kind of scary to go up against. Alright, so we shall Moonblast, and we shall... Okay, you know what? I'm gonna predict that they actually targeted down Arachnid with the Electro Shot, so I'm gonna protect Arachnid. That's my win condition. Okay, well, I actually resist Flamethrower, believe it or not, which is nice. Yeah, they targeted down Primarina, so... That's definitely my best way out of it. Alright, we'll Liquidation into our Caludon, but... So, yeah, luckily, while it doesn't look like I don't, my ability allows me to resist it. Yeah, the double up Silhouette is going to eat me up, so, yeah, we unfortunately don't survive. Oof, yeah. One other play would have been actually to get the double protect there, but Arachnid does not threaten much damage on Primarina to begin with. And I think that, yeah, that would have helped out if I assumed, like, oh, maybe they were targeting Arachnid, and if I get lucky, I can fire off the thing, but I think I paid a lot more respect to Walking Wake than I should have, and that honestly cost me the game, because if I didn't Terra that turn and said, oh, they're going to target down Incineroar anyways, I would have gotten the KO on Crown, or I could have gone for Dragon Pulse on Walking Wake and kind of brought him to half health, right? So, I could have thought of it that way too. Alright, in any case, let's keep it going. We got a pretty interesting team with Braviary, Crocodile, Magmar, Scrafty, Whimsicott, and excuse me, Porygon Z. So a lot of Intimidate users with potentially Crocodile and Scrafty, but we also have a Defiant user in Braviary, and it also has Tailwind support, right? And Whimsicott does too, and we got Porygon Z. So I don't really feel like Rillaboom is as helpful. Magmar, the one thing I need to be mindful of is Follow Me. Arachnid does a great job dealing with that, though. So I'm down for a Arachnid Rillaboom lead. We could also win in Ninetales. Ninetales looks pretty good at the end game. I want to use it offensively, not defensively. And I'll bring in Primarina as well. I think between the two of them, they can clean up shot. And it also gives me an opportunity to use an appropriate Terra. Like, if I'm going against Porygon Z, like, oh, it's going to have Thunderbolt. Primarina Terra at that point of the game. It looks really nice. Alright, with that, let's go ahead and get into this battle. Probably after this, I'm going to take a quick break. Get some water. Alright, so it is going to be Whimsicott and Braviary. So they were anticipating the whole, like, hey, we're going to go, fake it. We were going to go with the whole, Intimidate stuff. Yeah, I didn't want to bring in Incineroar to that. But I'm down to Liquidation into Braviary, and I will fake it out, though. Braviary would have to Terra Ghost to get around this. Whimsicott could also Terra. If Whimsicott Terras, I don't care. Braviary Terras, would it be Ghost? It's Ghost. Okay. So, we are going to be taking a pretty strong hit this turn, but I do think that we can retaliate with both Liquidation, and then the following turn we can use. So, Rillaboom's Fake Out fails, sure. Does Whimsicott set up Tailwind? It does. It's fine. Does Braviary go after... Who does Braviary go after? Goes after... Arachnid. Oh, it's just a one-hit KO. That's not fun. Okay. Choice Band, then, maybe. No, it's just left up. Jeez. And I anticipated to be that strong. Alright, well, give it up for Braviary. Ninetales looks okay. Aurora Veil can be helpful. Whimsicott would have to have Weather right now, right? What Pokemon do you have in the back? You don't have anything that screams that you would set up Weather, but I don't want to take that chance. Like, oh, Taunt could also come out. So I'm going to definitely use Freeze Dry into Whimsicott, and I'm just going to Rock Terra to Woodhammer into Braviary. Rock Terra does make me weaker against some of the other Pokemon, like their Scrafty and their Crocodile, but I can always switch Rillaboom out and, you know, Grassy Glide later in the game, too. Yeah, Taunt, sure. And I'll be happy to take that. It should be enough to get, okay, that does a decent amount of damage, and then we get a Warhammer here. Yeah, not a great turn 1. I will say that. That turn 1 definitely opened things up, which wasn't great. But we do find some way that we can work through this. Rillaboom takes some recovery. We have Primarina back too, right? Yeah, so that can be helpful. And it looks like Rabbit-Gator is Crocodile with Intimidate. Okay. I'm down to Moon. Do I want it? I think honestly Freeze Drying into Whimsicott's going to be big. And I don't mind for now switching into Primarina. I'm trying to think. Yeah, if I get down to the last 2 Pokemon, I think I'll be fine. Okay. Yeah, I'm not too worried about that, especially because you already have Tailwind up, right? The Rock Slide spam isn't fun. Crit on top of that, too. Just goes to show that Ninetales has some really defensive merit behind her, which is great. Alright, Whimsicott's out. And it's Porygon Z. Okay. Porygon Z, Porygon Z, Porygon Z. Down to Moonblast into, yeah, I definitely want to Moonblast into, Crocodile. Let me see how many. Grassy Terrain expires in 1 turn. Okay. Moonblast into Crocodile. I'll Protect for now. I want you to show me that you have Thunderbolt. Okay, yeah. Okay, Rock Slide comes out. We were just hoping to avoid flinches. Kind of the big one. Okay, we get the Moonblast off. That's huge. Not a KO quite yet, but a good amount of damage. Ninetales no longer is taunted, and Tailwind's over, and Snow is still up. So I'm down to Aurora Veil, oh, I can't Terra, because Rillaboom Terra. Right, okay. Definitely Aurora Veil. This is tricky, because how many turns of Grassy Terrain is 1 more turn, right? Definitely Aurora Veil here. I'm just worried about how much damage Thunderbolt will do. But Fortune favors the bold. Oh, just woo! Okay. We'll take that. And we got a miss on Ninetales. We'll happily take that. Oh, that was a turn, yeah. Rillaboom could have switched in for sure, but if flinch happens, it's fine. But we get Aurora Veil up like pretty late in a good timing of the game. Alright, Grassy Chain's over. But I got Aurora Veil and 1 more turn of Snow to work with. So we're going to Moonblast into Crocodile, and we'll Hyper Voice. This is tough. It's single target. Maybe that would have been one reason I would have wanted to Protect, right? So Crocodile gets single target. It's not enough for KO. No flinch? No flinch. Okay. We got this. Alright, that was scary. Yeah, playing against flinches, man, is so scary. And they really did set that up. So Snow's over, but at this point in the game, Snow doesn't really make a difference. It's mainly the Grassy Glides and the Fake Outs that are really helpful here. So we're going to set up Grassy Glide, Grassy Surge again. I will Moonblast into Porygon Z, and I will Fake Out now. Sure, you protect, but I'm just gonna Grassy Glide the following turns. Like, that's the main way I'm gonna play this. Their main way to win this is to try to get a one-hit KO on Rillaboom, like, to get a KO on Rillaboom this turn, and then hopefully they'll have a chance to get a KO on Ninetales the next turn. But I think the main problem here is that you have to ask yourself, can you survive the double up? So I'm going to Grassy Glide, and I'm going to attack. If you decide to attack with... Yeah, that does over half. So if you just target it down... so your Ice Beam Rillaboom, it's not even close to a KO. No freezes, so we win. Alright, perfect. You would have to... So, for the opponent to win this, at this level... We have 3 turns of Grassy Terrain. They would have to get 3 Protects in a row, which I think is like a 1 in a million chance. It's some, like, crazy statistic. And they forfeit. Okay. They could have played through the win condition, which would have been that. But, yeah, we just had enough firepower. Alright, guys, we're going to take a quick break. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll be right back with more Pokemon action. Thank you guys so much for tuning in so far. Having a blast, and we'll keep it going momentarily. Alright guys, we are back. Thank you guys so much for your patience. Got a refill of our water. We're ready to play more Pokemon here on Game of Smiles. Alright, so, like I was just thinking about this downstairs, man, screens are so underrated. They're great. There's a reason why Grimmstar's really great. Ninetales is really great. And I personally enjoy, like, what Ninetales does of pressuring the opponent to play with weather. I think, honestly, it's a great way and a great tactic to discourage your opponent from, you know, basically gives them a passive turn while you can be more active. Speaking of weather, looks like we got a couple of Pokemon here that's going to take full advantage of it, including Torkoal with Walking Wake. We got Whimsicott, their own Terapagos, Rillaboom, and Farigiraf. So this honestly looks like a really strong Regulation F team. They just added Terapagos to the mix, which is definitely scary. I can see Trick potentially going up, but I don't think that they need to rely on it. I think the main thing is using Farigiraf to help deny the priority. Man, with Terapagos in the mix, that's tough. Because, yeah, one of the things is, like, to try to stop Terapagos from, like, going off is, like, yeah, giving yourself some free turns and some time to knock it out. But we won't really necessarily get that. I think Rillaboom is decent. Torkoal is what scares me the most. Bolt looks okay, but Whimsicott, oh man, yeah, they're a really strong constructed team here. I'm down for a Bolt. Intimidate doesn't even help out much, right? Primarina looks weak against their Rillaboom. Okay, what would they... I'm gonna go with Bolt Rillaboom with Ninetales and Primarina. Arachnid, I think the problem with it is, like, it hits... It does well against Walking Wake and Torkoal, but with the sun up, it's not damage output. Unfortunately, it gets sliced, even with that water bubble boost. So it definitely is a tougher one. I think Arachnid is like a hit. It's really strong. It's great, but it definitely feels like a hit or miss. But could be enough to discourage like the Trick Room stuff. Okay, so we're gonna get Rillaboom Raging Bolt. And we're going to get the Terra Shift immediately for Terapagos here. So we're not going to... Maybe they Terra immediately. But if I can get a big hit off of Terapagos early, I think that's going to be super helpful. It's the Battle of the Long Necks, though. I think here I'm going to... Thunderbolt. Let me look. If you switched out... Rillaboom would be the only Pokemon that can take the combination of Thunderbolt and Warhammer. The rest of the team wouldn't... Oh, and Whimsicott, too. I could also Dragon Pulse. Then it's still Whimsicott. I'm down for Thunderbolt Woodhammer, honestly. Let's go for it. Yeah, and they're going to commit the Terra to Terapagos early. Okay. That means they are attacking. We do lose grassy terrain, so our Woodhammer won't do as much damage, but it should... Yeah, that's the one thing, too, of like, man, oh, the boost from Woodhammer, it's gone. But... Oh, geez, with Helping Hand support, too? Oh, gosh. We're gonna get slammed. Yeah, I'm glad he didn't leave Ninetales, though. Ninetales would have just gotten destroyed. That's just an obscene amount of damage. Alright, Woodhammer. It's not enough for a KO, unfortunately. I get Thunderbolt. Yeah. Oh my goodness, do you see how much damage that did, right? And the fact that you barely, right, it just needs to hold on for a little bit. Sure. Oh my gosh, yeah, Terapagos is just eating us for breakfast. Yeah, a spread type move that always gets I think it's a 1.2 times boost, neutral against everything, but then becomes super effective against terrestrialized Pokemon. Oh my god, this thing just is like a monster. And here comes Helping Hand again, sure. And it's Terra Star Storm, yeah. So I'm gonna lose Rillaboom here. There aren't many White Guard Pokemon. I mean, like, it would have been Arachnid, but that's the thing, though. Like, yeah, you got one White Guard Pokemon, but then... I think, honestly, like... Garganacl might find a way in a format where Terrapagos is going crazy, but because the wide grid support, sure, but also too of like it could be especially defensively bulky, and that in itself helps out a lot. Yeah, I think in this case we just need to target down Terrapagos, and we'll use Moonblast, and we'll use Thunderbolt on the. So let me see. You could switch in Torkoal on Moonblast. So I don't mind Thunderbolting into Farigiraf, and I will go for Moonblast into Terrapagos. Do I outspeed Terrapagos? I think I outspeed. Yeah, so that turn was dumb for them. So that one definitely was a wasted turn. I think the following turn now I get an ability to say like, hey, I can use like Aurora Veil. So that was a huge misplay on their end. If Torkoal comes out, then I feel comfortable going with Moonblast and Thunderbolt to prevent Trick Room from coming up. They could predict that and attack with Torkoal. Yeah. But, yeah, so they have two plays. They can actually attack with Torkoal. Oh, wait, no, never mind. Photosynthesis activates, right? So my special attack gets increased. How much damage did I... Oh, I'll get the KO here with Thunderbolt. And I'll just switch you out with Primarina. Yeah. Thunderbolt you, switch you out for Primarina. So this is like, I'm calling out if you decide to protect or not with Torkoal. I should get the KO on for a graph, and there's no defensive tear that you can use. Okay, so you do go on the offense, yeah. This should do a decent amount. I think Bolt survives. Yeah, Bolt survives. Okay. I do have all my Terras, but I think Terra Ninetales is going to be the move. And Rillaboom, the Unrivaled. Okay. Ooh, that's an interesting question. Do I Terra Primarina? Do I Terra Ninetales? That's a tricky one. I think I want to Thunderbolt and Bolt and Torkoal and Protect here. Yeah, I don't think I want to Terra. I need to knock out Torkoal first. Yeah, Grass Terra still works well, because, like, what happens if they fake out into Bolt and then knock it out? Sure. Okay, faked out into Primarina, which we like to see. That means Bolt's going to get a really strong Thunderbolt off into Torkoal. It's a lot, and we have Earth Power. Perfectly fine by me. That means that Primarina is going to be our best option for Terra. Okay. Cool. So winning Ninetales, we'll Terra Primarina, use Hyper Voice on both to get a special attack boost. And then that means it's Ninetales. Yeah. So we're going to Aurora Veil here. Terra Grass, Hyper Voice on both. Torkoal is kind of locked in, and we prevented Trick Room. Yeah, I think the turn that they threw away the game was the Helping Hand with Terrapagos, because I know Terrapagos has 85, that's one weakness, it's 85 base speed, so Ninetales naturally outspeeds, but from slower teams, like, this team's a little bit slower, it is stronger on that one, right? So if a team that's slower uses Priority, Terrapagos actually does a lot. Yeah, and so I think things like having Recovery for Terrapagos can be helpful. Heal Pulse, for instance, or things like that. But yeah, the Helping Hand was a waste for them. And now with Terrapagos off the field, we feel more confident tearing, right? Primarina Tear into Grass means that it resists Rillaboom. And Rillaboom would have to go for, like, probably Grassy Glide at this point, right? So, Torkoal protects, which makes sense, but at this point in the game, not a big deal. I set up Aurora Veil, which is huge. And we get the Wood Hammer. Yeah, and you can see how little damage that did, right? And then Throat Spray activates, sure. I wonder what... I do definitely want to knock out Torkoal. I'm down for... Actually, I am going to Protect, and I'm going to Hyper Voice. I feel like if I get lucky with how I position my KO against Rillaboom... Because Rillaboom can easily go to Wood Hammer into Ninetales. I'll take it comfortably, but that's just like that's free damage on the board. Rillaboom also hasn't revealed U-Turn, which is something... Yeah, for Torkoal going for the double Protect is a smart call. And did Rillaboom target it into Ninetales? That's the turn I want to call out. So I get another additional turn with Primarina doing some solid damage here. So guaranteed knockout on Torkoal, which is perfect. We get some recovery here, and this just makes the end game a lot easier for us. So yeah, now we can just Freeze Dry, Moonblast, and just go from there. Especially too because Primarina has like full health. That means that your damage from Wood Hammer also will add up too. So now we can just Freeze Dry, Moonblast. So they most likely have high horsepower if they went for that. I did like the double Protect though on Torkoal. I think that was a good play because if they did get it, it would actually make this next fight, next turn a little bit harder. So yeah, so Freeze Dry does a lot. Wood Hammer is gonna come out. It'll do, yeah, it doesn't get us down to half, which is great. But that Recoil hurts, and then we get to fire up this Moonblast at +1. We can knock out Rillaboom. Yeah. So, yeah, great battle. Woo! But yeah, I think the opponent, it was that turn where they helping handed and then tried to do Terra Starstorm. Since Ninetales outsped Trapagos, it didn't help them. So I think that what they should have done was try to find a way to pivot in Torkoal, make it harder for Ninetales to win, and then Trapagos can just sweep from there. But they just didn't find that play. I would have gotten the, Photosynthesis boost. Yeah, it would have been interesting, for sure. Because I think the following turn, yeah, I'm Pressure to knock out Photograph. Because that would have been another ankle. If they set up Trick Room, I would have been in big trouble. Alrighty, it looks like we're going up against Logan. What does Logan have for us? Logan has Empoleon, with a very similar team to ours. I think the difference is that instead of Ninetales and Raccoonina, they have Empoleon and Furgraf. So, battle of the starters here. I think with that, I think that, yeah, an incredible team that they've set up here. With that, I don't have many ground-type moves. Ground honestly looks really strong. That hits 3 out of the 6. My own Primarina looks decent. I like Ninetales. I do like Ninetales actually a lot. I think it's just Empoleon I gotta deal with. So if I can find a way to deal with Empoleon, then I feel more confident. So I'm down for a Rillaboom Ninetales lead. With Bolt in the back, and... Oh, you know what? I'll do Ninetales Bolt with Rillaboom in the back, and... Is Primarina or Raccoonina? I'll go for... it's a defensive Terra. Actually, having additional answers to Bolt is going to be helpful, so I'll go for Primarina. You can Terra Fairy. Right, and I can deal with Bolt in other ways too, sure, but that's gonna be helpful. Because if Empoleon is out there, then it might be tempted to use Flash Cannon on Ninetales, and I can say like, I don't care, I'll attack Empoleon first. Yeah, so Empoleon does come out with Incineroar as well. Okay. So this first turn looks pretty straightforward. I think what I want to do here is I want to go target down Empoleon with a Thunderbolt. So I'll protect Ninetales for now, and I'll target down Empoleon with just a vanilla Thunderbolt. No need to get fancy with Thunderclaps right now. Maybe the next turn I'll fire up a Thunderclap. And they don't have immediate weather control here either. Empoleon's best switch-in would be Rillaboom. But it looks like they're gonna let me. Does Incineroar go for a fake out? No, they okay. Well, I'm close to getting a knockout on Empoleon, and they just go for Flare Blitz. Okay. And Flash Cannon. Okay, so they were doubling up. Ninetales should survive a Flare Blitz. Do I need a Terra? I don't want to open up weaknesses to Rillaboom quite yet. So I'm down to Freeze Dry into Empoleon. Yeah, I still feel comfortable surviving a Flare Blitz. And I'm just going to attack into Incineroar as well. Sure. That means Rillaboom might be coming out. Let's just Furgraph, okay. Incineroar takes a decent amount of damage. You eat the Citrus Berry though. Okay. Alright, in this position, I will now set up a Royal Veil. And I now will Thunderbolt into Incineroar as well. So I get a Royal Veil a little bit longer, which is nice. Incineroar goes for Lariat. And then am I going to deal Trick Room right now, right? Yeah, okay. I know it was Primarine Rillaboom in the back that I have, so, I'm down to Protect for now. And I'm going to make it a little bit awkward for them. I'm actually going to put some damage into it for Regidraff. I'm not going to give him a free switch in. So I had to eat up Lariat. I take that comfortably. And Dazzle comes out. Okay. So Dazzle actually is going to be a little bit threatening against Bolt. Oh, I take that comfortably. I'm okay. I'll Thunderbolt here. Ooh, that does a lot. And the paralysis. Full Parax could happen. So if a full para happened, the best opportunity would to just get the KO on for Regidraff now. That gives me access to priority, and I'll Protect. And also make sure they can't reset up Trick Room, right? But my Pokemon, for the most part, don't mind it. That's huge. And did Incineroar target down Bolt? It did. Okay. Some extra turn recovery. I fire up the Moonblast and knock out for a Regidraff. So unfortunate turn of events for them. But at that point, I honestly was down for a free switch in. Snow's over. I get 3 more turns of Aurora Veil. Their Empoleon is super weak. Their Incineroar is super weak. So yeah, I guess like I mean, what I'm trying to think of what other Pokemon they would have. I think I want to clap Incineroar. They have their own Raging Bolt. Okay. So in that case, I want to double up into the Bolt with Terra Fairy, Fairy Terra, and yeah, none of my other Terras make sense. So Dragon Pulse into their Bolt. Oh, you know what? Getting rid of their Incineroar can be helpful. I'll Moonblast, and I'll Fairy Terra Thunderclap into Incineroar. Alright, my Bolt Terras. I think the main thing is their Empoleon, but Rillaboom, because I got rid of their priority, pretty much locks down Empoleon. Fake out to Grassy Glide till Kingdom Come. So, Thunderclap comes out, great. Incineroar's out. And also, too, I can Thunderclap their own Empoleon. Pulse comes out, doesn't affect me. Ninetales survives all these turns of Trick Room, it's crazy. And we do a good amount of damage on Bolt as well. And lower special attack? Jeez, I'm evil. Bolt reveals leftovers. And I also eat my leftovers. So, yeah, at this point, I think Thunderclap is pretty much free on Empoleon. Empoleon would have to Protect, but Yeah, so they got one more turn of Trick Room. So yeah, Moonblast into Bolt and Thunderclap into Empoleon. It's been a long time since we got one of these, y'all. Oh my gosh, we got the Rage Quit. We got the communication with the other trainer interrupted. Y'all know what that means. We gotta play the Rage Quit video. We gotta play it. Haters are gonna hate, man. Oh, let's go. Let's go. We love to see it. Oh my goodness. That is... Oh. Chef's kiss. I love that. Because, like, hey, I pinned you down. And that was you not... I mean, sure, alright. I'll give it to this. I'll give him one thing. I get the frustration in getting paralyzed and then getting a full para from that. Totally get that. But, if you look at the end game and what that would have consisted of, I still would have had I had Rillaboom, right? So what would have happened was I would have survived your Dazzling Gleam, and I would have survived your Darkest Lariat, and I would have knocked out your Free anyways the next turn, right? Because then it's just like I get priority Grassy Glides and Fake Outs opened up. I'll knock out your Empoleon. Empoleon can't protect that long. And then it's Primarina and Fairy Terra Raging Bolt versus normal Raging Bolt. The Raging Bolt can only get 1 KO per turn. It has to choose. And I'll keep on getting those KOs. So, I mean, in Aurora Veil helped me survive a lot of turns, right? So, yeah, that was great. Okay, any case, I know that if, you know, I'm not going to overtly salt them, but I think in those cases it's easy just to say, like, I'll just run away and then be done with it, but... It is what it is, man. Those are always fun. I'll have to go back and clip that. But yeah. You didn't have to do that, man. You didn't have to. But we got the bumper just in case that happens. Alright, looks like we got a few more battles before they'll kick us out for the day. We got a battle against Bill. Bill Nye, the science guy. Oh my gosh, Bill Nye. What are you doing, Bill? They have Gothitelle on the team. I totally forgot Gothitelle was in the Blueberry decks. Gothitelle is really scary. If you guys don't know, Gothitelle has the ability Shadow Tag, meaning you can't switch out. And there weren't many Ghost types in this format, so... I'm kind of stuck. Especially against Terrapagos, that can be really scary. So we gotta figure out ways to deal with that. Okay. Nice thing though is Incineroar does have ways to pivot out with Parting Shot. Blaziken also is kind of a scary sweeper, not gonna lie. Blaziken being a firefighting also doesn't mind going up against Incineroar and the speed boost. One thing that you could play with Blaziken, this actually might be an idea to use, and I did this before I did the coaching Blaziken strategies and I baton passed my speed boost over, whenever Dynamax gave you a lot of boosts. Blaziken could get a couple speed boosts and give that over to Terrapagos. I was telling in the other battle, Terrapagos' big weakness, 85 base speed. Oh, just Blaziken. Help it out, right? Alright, with that, I think Raging Bolt's going to be important. Araquanid can be helpful. I don't know if I want to lead Bolt. Maybe I go with Ninetales Incineroar with Bolt and Araquanid in the back. Feels weird to take out... oh, that's okay. Don't worry. I got the replay. I'll find it in the replay. No worries at all. I'll export it to YouTube and all that. I'm going to do that with these battles as well, as I'm going to clip every individual one and kind of did with my regulation F and send them to YouTube. But I think this battle is going to be very tough. I think Gothitelle is scary. Okay, so it's Rillaboom Blaziken versus Ninetales and Incineroar. So let's see what happens. Ninetales activates Speed, Snow Warning. Rillaboom's faster than Incineroar, so we need to keep that in mind. But I think the question here is... Oh, Clear Amulet. That's cool. Okay. So, Rillaboom can feel like it might want to... I don't know if I have a Pokemon that can take an attack from Blaziken. Araquanid could. So, I think for now I'm down to Protect. And I will hard switch in... Alright, you know what? I will Parting Shot into Rillaboom. I might have to eat up a really strong fighting type attack, which isn't great, but yeah, Fake Out into the Ninetales, which is fine. Now, if you doubled up into Ninetales, Sword Stance, yeah. That's where things get scary. Okay. Still not bad. We got Rillaboom pretty weak, right? So this is kind of big. That means that Rillaboom isn't really threatening Araquanid with that much damage. I'm neutral against Grass right now. So because of that, Rillaboom might feel tempted to switch out. And that kind of opens up the door for an attack on Blaziken. Blaziken would feel like it would need to Terra. And I can try to set up a Aurora Veil here. Speed Boost comes in. I think Blaziken now outspeeds Ninetales. But I'm down to Aurora Veil. Ah, shoot. If Blaziken outspeeds Ninetales at +1. That's the problem. I can't Water Terra. Because that then opens up new challenges for Rillaboom. Right? But I do think I need a Liquidation here. Yeah, Rillaboom switches out. Arcaludon comes in. So, looking okay. Blaziken Terras, which makes sense, right? You want to avoid just a one-shot from Araquanid. Into Grass Terra. Okay, it makes it a little bit easier for Rillaboom to deal with. Alright, Incineroar to deal with, and we're gonna get the Flare Blitz off. Yeah, Focus Sash makes it a little bit tougher, but because they're Clear Amulet, does a decent amount with Recoil, and we get to fire off this Liquidation. Oh, we still get the knockout, so, I think it's a good thing, maybe? Okay, so good news, bad news. The good news is we do get a knockout, which is helpful to Blaziken, and they used up their Terra to do it. But Terapagos is out. This is where it gets weird. Does Terapagos protect? Because what I want to do is fake out into Terapagos and then Liquidation into it as well. Yeah, type distortion. So they didn't, because they Terra'd Blaziken, actually this makes it easier to deal with Terapagos. Terapagos is actually a lot weaker now. Which is perfect. Exactly what we're looking for. Special attack rise, do you have Power Herb? Oh shoot, you have Power Herb. Oh my god. I survived with 11! Oh my gosh, that's huge. Okay, decent amount of damage there. Tropicals heals with leftovers and Grassy Terrain as well. Okay. Well, the fact that they had to tear the Blaziken actually does help us out here. So, that's good. One of the challenges, though, is that our Arcaludon could be an easy Pokemon that can start sweeping. Okay. I want a parting shot here. I want to protect for now. This is tough. Okay, Incineroar, what do we want to do here? Alright, let's Flare Blitz, and then protect. Fine, I'm okay with that. Okay, cool. Flash Cannon, that means that's a pretty safe switching into, for Bolt. So the fact that you want to commit Flash Cannon is helpful. Stamina activates, but we do know that you're not, Assault Vest, because we saw the Power Herb go out, right? Okay, this is definitely a very, very precarious stance here. So I definitely want a parting shot with Incineroar here, and I'll switch you into Bolt. This is definitely tricky. Yeah, because the Arcaludon is definitely the Pokemon that's like, this thing can make a comeback. And I can't Fairy Terra for fear of Flash Cannon, right? So it kind of pins me in two ways. So I'll take this first Flash Cannon comfortably, which is great. Thank God for Aurora Veil. And then we had to deal with Aura Sphere, which is weak. It's like a baby hit. Okay, this is where it gets a little bit tricky here. I'm down to bring in the Rakranid again. I don't want to knock out Terapagos right now. I think Terapagos right now, it's funny. It's literally based on the story. It's like, oh yeah, Terapagos is not at its full bow. It's kind of weak. It kind of feels that way right now. The thing is, I want to make sure I'm mindful of what you're going to do. Yeah, we get the speed order there. We're going to heal up a good amount too, which is nice. Grassy train is over. I don't know. I do final fire off a liquidation here. I feel like a bug bite into Terapagos in case Rillaboom switches back in, and a switch out into Incineroar could be helpful. Because the one thing I want to watch out for is, I want to see, show me the dragon move. Show me the dragon move, please. I beg you, show me that dragon move. Yeah, okay. That's what I was worried about. I didn't want to immediately commit to... Okay, that's actually super helpful. Knowing that, I mean, your special attack is lower, you're going to feel, like, kind of pressured to switch out to Rillaboom. And then we get normal Terra Starstorm, which is like 120 base, which is strong, but not like enough for a KO here. So if you are Arcaludon, you're going to feel pressure to switch out. Okay, this is definitely still... Arcaludon is the one who can run away with this game, right? So I want to Dragon Pulse into Arcaludon, and also Flare Blitz into it, expecting Rillaboom to switch in. Yeah. I should knock out Rillaboom, and now I can use the grassy terrain to my advantage. Alright, it should do a good amount of damage to Rillaboom. I didn't mind about Terapagos right now. But this double up should be enough to get a KO. Perfect. Okay. Threat of trick crit. I don't think the crit mattered at that point. Slitless is a strong attack. Okay. This is where it gets a little bit tricky, because if I don't get the KO right now, because Trapper... Oh, wait. Does Terra Starstorm still... No, it doesn't. It's just a normal type attack at that point. Raging Bull at full HP is great. And Arcaludon gave up all of its defense boost, right? Alright, so we're going to Terra, Dragon Pulse into Arcaludon, and we're going to Flare Blitz it. Oh, you know what? We're going to Helping Hand Dragon Pulse. I could have played this a little bit safer. I kind of regret this play. Well, no, not necessarily. I wanted to put as much damage as possible into Arcaludon. If Arcaludon predicts that I'm Fairy Terra, then we're in trouble. But if it didn't, then I think that we're going to get a really strong attack. I'm hopeful we get this big KO here, but it's going to be a big one. And protected, yeah, that's the problem. And then, yeah, I could have played that a lot more safer. That was on me. And I should have played it safer. Just protect, or attack, Terapagos. And they recognize that my biggest threat is Arcaludon, right? Is it over? Because I revealed that. No. I think the problem is just that with Terapagos on the field, like, I have to focus on Arcaludon, right? There's just, it's impossible not to ignore it. So I'm just going to be taking so much damage from this. Right, it has to deal with Flash Cannon now. You see how much that does, right? So, and there you go. Yeah, well done for my opponent. I think that was the play that if I didn't rush in and I went after Terapagos, I probably would have been in a lot better spot, but... There was one I don't think I can win this, but I'll try. I think the idea here is you'll flash cannon again. Yeah, because that was the thing. If I had to have gotten the turn of you try to Draco and I got the Terra off, right? So yeah, at this point they're just gonna Terra Starstorm. It's 120 base special attack. It's pretty strong, and then you flash cannon again, right? So. Yeah, so it definitely is a tough one. I think that's also important to note too. Like, don't immediately commit to the Terra if you don't need to. The double open Rillaboom was really great. I think that that last turn, if I went after Terrapagos, and say like, okay, maybe you do have Protect, maybe you don't, but best of one, you don't know that. If I knew I had Protect, I would have gone for it, but yeah, at this point, yeah, good game. So, well done from the opponent. I think that they did a great job of like beating out the Terra and calling it at the right time. Man, that was tough too, because we had a pretty solid early game lead. With knocking out the Blaziken, and they didn't have Terra anymore, but and Power Herb really did push us back, for sure. So that was definitely a tough one. Our Caludon actually does really well against this team because of that Electro Shot. I think Electro Shot changes a lot of things for a Caludon. So, well done from the opponent recognizing that. Yeah, because, like, Primarina's weak against it, or Arcanine takes a lot of damage from it. And then you get a +1 special attack. That's Flash Cannon, you got your Dragon moves. And, yeah, you'd have to have ground or fighting to be able to hit a Caludon super effectively. It's kind of hard to fit in. Alrighty, so this next battle also kind of deals with weather. We got both Torkoal and Whimsicott. One thing I want to note is that we have the Gouging Fire. Oh, we have all three Paradox. Gouging Fire, Bolt, and Wake. I wonder if that means that I could use my own Raging Bolt to take advantage of that. I think Fairy Offense is going to be helpful. Ninetales and Primarina look primed for success here. I'm down for an Incineroar Raging Bolt lead combination, and then Ninetales and Primarina. If they decide to... because I don't need necessarily to worry about Whimsicott immediately, but what I can do is I can fake out into like what's next to Whimsicott, right? So if it's Metagross, for instance, I actually probably don't even need a fake out. I'd probably just go for Flare Blitz immediately, and then the following turn Thunderclap into Flare Blitz on the other end too. So we can use Incineroar offensively as well, which is interesting. Yeah, because they're going to give me a Photosynthesis boost, and I think the idea behind it is I would want to fake out into... Yeah, I think that's the way I play it. Fake out into Wake, and then immediately Thunder Bolt into it as well. Because Wake doesn't usually have... Well, it might Protect. So if that was the case, then I would Thunderbolt into... fake out Wake, Thunderbolt into Torkoal to do as much damage as possible, right? So we're going to try to use this to their advantage until we're done with it, and then we'll turn it off. Alright, so they're going to lead with Wake and Bolt, which is a pretty interesting lead. Yeah, oh man, Ninetales would have been an incredible... Well, maybe not, because that's a free switch into Torkoal, right? So, wow, that's... I've never anticipated this type of lead. I think what I want to do here is actually go for... I don't mind fake out into... Yeah, I don't mind fake out into Wake. And also pour in as much damage as possible into Wake as well. I think the way they would counter this would be to switch in something that could take this attack, like Metagross, and then combined with their own Bolt. It's interesting because, yeah, Bolt is double threatened, but I also threaten them. I actually get a Terra out early. I wonder if it's Wake going for the Terra. Bolt goes for the Terra, which is fine. And I have Fairy Terra as well. Okay, cool. So I guess we can do that. We can Fairy Terra and then Thunderclap the next turn. Okay. I'll keep that in mind. But yeah, this would be a pretty good hit on their own Wake. I might have to eat this first Dragon Pulse. Oh, that does a lot. Okay. But I knock out their own Wake, which is huge. Yeah. So they have the similar Terra than I did, but I didn't view Bolt as the Pokemon I need to deal with immediately. Okay. So I guess the next question we have to ask ourselves is, what's their next Pokemon they're going to send out, and how do we do to mitigate that Pokemon? If it's Torkoal, Torkoal is not fun. Oh, it's Metagross now. Okay. Then Fairy Tale feels weird. I'm down to Flare Blitz for now into Metagross, and I would like to Protect here. Because I don't want to open myself up to I can be hit by Bullet Punch quite yet. They would have to double up into Incineroar to get the KO here. They've committed their Terra. So I'll get the Protect off. Metagross locks into Rock Slide, which is fine. I should take it decently well. Yeah, I take that decently well. No flinches. We got Thunderbolt, so it was a double up. I survived. Please, no flinches. And we get the Flare Blitz off. Okay, cool. Weakness policy activates. Okay. I'm not as worried about that, because I can just Thunderclap their own Metagross, and I will Flare Blitz into their... No, I'm slower, so I'm not going to Flare Blitz. I am actually going to Parting Shot into their Bolt, and I will Fairy Tale Thunderclap into Metagross. That opens up a opportunity to, okay. So I unfortunately will not get the KO on Metagross immediately. But Torkoal comes out, which is great, because that means that Photosynthesis activates. You'll get your boost. It's gonna be special attack. I mean, I don't get to use it. Dang, this is gonna be a little bit tougher. I definitely want to like pour damage into Torkoal. My Thunderclap fails. You Bolt, which is fine. Someone gets knocked out. This is definitely a tough one, because I can definitely see Metagross running away with this. We get Snow Up, so I do get a Fire off Aurora Veil. I'm fine with Photosynthesis wearing off, but Aurora Veil is going to be super helpful. So I'll do that, and I will Thunderbolt into their Torkoal. Torkoal could Protect, but yeah, any switch into Metagross is going to be a death. I don't think they have to get a safe switch into Metagross. But if I can knock out the Bolt, if I do a good amount. Oh, cool. Okay, this is great. This is great. I'm okay with this, because I just wanted a Aurora Veil. I didn't need the snow to win. Nah, the Paralyze isn't great. Please not a full para. Okay. Alright, so this is going to be a little bit tricky, because obviously we do want to make sure that we... Torkoal can, I mean, theoretically win this. Okay, so I think what I want to do here, I have Aurora Veil up, which is nice. I like the idea of protecting, and I don't mind Thunderclapping their own. Do I Thunderclap Torkoal or do I Thunderclap? I think we clap their Bolt, recognizing that we're going to have to pour in as much damage as possible should I get this KO. Yeah, that clap goes out first. Alright, that's a tough one. Okay. There wasn't really anything we could do against that. And then Torkoal gets a free eruption off, right? Okay. This is tough. Because I can't... Yeah, with Primarina as our last, I won't have enough... Because it's easy enough for Bolt to click the clap button. Yeah, well done. They had the same tier I did, which is kind of cool, but... yeah, there's not much... Like, I have to pour in damage in Torkoal. Right? But pouring in damage in Torkoal means... you know what? No, Harsh Sunlight means you can't be frozen. Moonblast into Torkoal. You know what? I'm gonna say Photosynthesis is up, right? Moonblast into you. Yeah, no, that doesn't make sense. I'm trying to figure out a sequence of patterns that, you know, we're gonna... Fortune favors the bold. We'll Moonblast into you, and we will Hyper Voice. Okay, they didn't clap, which is helpful. Okay, that's something. We survive, and we get the Hyper Voice off. Okay, alright, we got a game. We got a game. We got a game. We got a game. Burn had puts us on a ticking timer, unfortunately. Alright, I say we Moonblast into... Okay. We definitely want to Moonblast into Torkoal, and I think we're going to protect this turn. Expecting the clap to try to go into Primarina. Give me one extra turn. They clicked on the Thunderbolt button. Okay, but that's helpful. Okay, now I want to Moonblast into you. And I'm hopeful that the 1+1 special attack is enough to get the KO on Torkoal. It's really down to the wire. I think they might try to commit to clap now. No, they don't. Okay, do I get another special attack drop? I get another special attack drop! Whoa! We brought this all the way back, y'all! Let's go! Primarina is knocked out, though, so I think it doesn't matter. Okay, dang. Yeah, because you just have to clap at this point, right? Oh, man. RNGesus did help, but, you know, it was definitely... the burn was the one... He giveth and he taketh, right? And the burn was it, because I didn't have an extra turn to work with. Oh, that's cool. You actually have Weather Ball. That's awesome. But yeah, at this point in the game, I do have one win condition. Oh, and I don't have that win condition. You are actually Heat Rock. Dang, okay. Well, in that case, yeah, it would be protecting infinitely. Yeah, okay. Great job. Great job from my opponent. Oh, okay, maybe. Maybe it is. Let me go for it one more time. I get the protect off. My idea was to stall out Sun. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna get it. So that's 2 turns. My idea is to stall out Sun. Aurora Veil's over. I don't think Aurora Veil at this point makes a difference. I got one more turn of Sun. Stall out Sun, so I can get a freeze. I got the protect. So I think the opponent's gonna get a little bit angry. They're like, why are you doing this? Okay. The win condition, it's a crazy one. Sunlight's over. Photosynthesis wearing off doesn't make a difference. It's this. I can now freeze you. I have a chance. I go first. Okay, I don't get it. That would have been a little bit crazy. I did play to my outs, which was that. But yeah, the idea was to get the freeze and then win that way. But yeah, well done for my opponent. I think, yeah, the Torkoal definitely is a scary Pokemon to go up against, and I honestly just didn't have enough higher power to output that. I think the Terra on Raging Bolt was tough, but it was necessary. Alright, gotta go to the restroom real quick. I'll be right back, folks. Alright, we are back. Thank you guys so much for your patience. Alright, let's keep it going. As soon as they kick us out, that's when we're gonna stop. But yeah, that was definitely a tough one. And I think, yeah, we were kind of locked down. Oh, Apollo, I saw your message. I am super excited. I'm gonna check out in a bit. As soon as the stream ends, I'm checking out your Discord message. But yeah. Yeah, this honestly has been really fun so far. We're gonna be facing out against Jose, who will be also using Hail, but in a different way, enabling a Alolan Sandslash to pop off. And then from there, we also have Empoleon, Cleaver with Incineroar, and Archaludon. Archaludon is definitely my biggest threat, I will have to say. I don't mind an Incineroar Raging Bolt lead. I think obviously the big challenge is going to be the Empoleon could be a potential lead. If I wanted to deal with that better, I don't mind bringing out actually Ninetales and Raging Bolt. Kind of bait them into, like, let me attack with my own Alolan Sandslash, and then I can try to pick them off pretty quickly, right? And then from there, I'll bring in Incineroar, and then the last Pokemon being Rillaboom. I think the main challenge I'm going to have with it is just Archaludon. I think Archaludon is just probably one of the best typings in the game. Steel Dragon, I think, is right below Steel Fairy. So, Archaludon just is just amazing like that. Its main weakness is a special defense, but with investment, it can take on a good amount of special attacks, right? So, we're actually going to see a Ninetales and Incineroar, so no Alolan Sandslash immediately, versus Ninetales and my own Bolt. I think one of the challenges Bolt is that Ninetales naturally threatens with a lot of damage. So I don't mind using Aurora Veil this turn, and I will protect. I don't necessarily have a great switch in. But I think the following turns I can use that to my advantage. I don't want to immediately tear it. So yeah, Incineroar does fake out, sure. Okay. So that would have been a good opportunity to have attacked, just get some damage on the board. But let's see. If Ninetales would attack, it would either use Aurora, it would use a Moonblast, a Freeze Drive. I think my own Incineroar can take it. And that means the next turn I can pressure with, like, I don't know, Flare Blitz, right? So yeah, we're gonna have to eat up this Moonblast. And we set up our own Aurora Veil. That means that this turn we might need to eat a Flare Blitz, but I don't think it's like the end of the world here. And so we are going to eat a Flare Blitz here. We take that decently well, all things considered. Get burnt. I had a feeling in the back of my head. I was like, we're going to get burnt, aren't we? Alright, in this case, I do feel confident going for a Moonblast into their Incineroar, and also a Parting Shot into their Incineroar as well. I would anticipate Ninetales would want to switch out. I basically want to get to a point where... yeah, we're just trading glancing blows at this point. I'm putting Relievement for now. Okay. I think that, yeah, with the burn, I think it's a knockout. I'll Moonblast into their Ninetales, and I would actually High Horsepower it into their Incineroar. Yeah, I definitely played this game sloppily. That could have been an easy opportunity to use Fake Out or something like that. Relievement doesn't take too much damage, but I've already committed so much to trying to... yeah, it's going to eat a Citrus Berry, Incineroar is super bulky, and Incineroar is going to respond with its Flare Blitz of its own, right? Oh, just Parting Shot. Okay. Not the end of the world. Alright, give me 1 second. Actually, what time is this for? It's 5 o'clock. Alright, Sandslash comes out. And my own Incineroar can come in here. I'm going to predict that Sandslash Terras, and I'm just going to immediately Warhammer into it. I think, yeah, I mean, I need to make some big plays to really come back from this, and this is the play I'm going to make. I'm going to assume Sandslash is going to Terra Water, and I'm going to get a big KO. I'm going to try to get a big KO from this. So there's Sandslash Terrain. Terra goes to Terra Water. Terra Water. Yep. And then hopefully with the Woodhammer, this will be enough to knock out Sandslash, and I should climb myself back up in this game. That there's Fires Off Blizzard, thanks to Aurora and Assault Vest, I'm able to take it. And I get the Woodhammer off. Not enough for a KO, unfortunately. Snow's over, but you most likely are. Yeah, light play. I'll Parting Shot, or you know what? I'll helping hand into a Grassy Glide. Oh wait, wrong target. That was dumb. Oh well, this kind of helps. I put on a good amount of damage on, and, well, not -2, it's not great. And I'm glad I didn't Parting Shot into Empoleon, so that's also another scary thing to deal with. Alright, I'm gonna Parting Shot into their Incineroar, and I will switch out into Volt. It is possible that Empoleon could use Ice Beam here, but I think with Aurora Veil I should take that pretty comfortably. And they've already committed their Terra. That's a huge miss, honestly. I'll take the Flare Blitz, fine. Yeah. Okay. Woo! This is gonna be a tough match, let me tell you. We can make this work. We just gotta figure it out. I want to assume that Incineroar would probably try to Parting Shot into Bolt. I'm almost tempted to double up into it. Yeah, Wood Hammer into it, and also Thunderbolt into it. Expecting Empoleon to switch out. Okay, it didn't happen. Their Aurora Veil wears off. I get one more turn of it. Ninetales comes out. Okay, I'm going to switch out into Incineroar here. I'm going to drag Fairy Terra, and I'm going to Thunderbolt right into their Empoleon. They don't have Focus Sash anymore. So hopefully, if they did have Focus Sash, they don't have it anymore. So I'm hopeful that I can get a big KO here. And this allows me to survive any attacks that Ninetales might throw out. Yeah, I know. I'm giving Empoleon a competitive boost. But yeah, that just makes it. The next turn I can fake out into Ninetales, use Thunderclap into Sling and Slash, and then Thunderclap again, right? Is that pretty low HP too? Ninetales sets up Aurora Veil, sure. And I get the Thunderbolt off. Not enough for a KO, unfortunately. But we do have to see the Ice Beam. Oh, the freeze! That actually hurts a lot. And our Aurora Veil wears off too. The freeze is what really screws us over. Because my play would have been to fake out into Thunderbolt into the Empoleon slot. I think I'm going to go for it still. Oh my god. That's okay. It happens. You Moonblast into Incineroar. I'm not going to bring out Rillaboom. I outspeed still, though. Not enough for a KO. And yeah, I'm going to eat a +2 Flash Cannon. Because that was real... Because I was willing to risk that competitive boost for the chance to use Fake Out. And the fact that we got frozen that turn completely messes that up. So, yeah, any offensive pressure we got is completely gone. I mean, if I'm... I can't beat it alone with Sand Slash. Oh my gosh, that hurt the most. Because I think the freeze is what really screwed us over. Because yeah, if I'm on Empoleon, I'm just gonna... Okay. Yeah, it doesn't make a difference here. the freezes though. That just hurt. That really did hurt. I feel pretty demoralized by that because I found the play, which was fake out Empoleon, and then even with the whole thing, yeah, fake out Empoleon and then Thunderbolt, and then I'd get one more Thunderbolt, and Ninetales doesn't exert any offensive pressure really against Raging Bolt, and Raging Bolt plus Rillaboom knocks out Sandslash, and then it's just endgame Ninetales, right? But yeah, to lose based on that just really did hurt, but it is what it is. It happens, but yeah, well done from the opponent. They got it, so you can't do anything about it. I mean, to be fair, my brother did win Regionals 2013 thanks to a freeze. So, yeah, it giveth and it taketh. Alright, speaking of being bummed, Boo-hoo is who we're fighting against, and Boo-hoo has a potential Sun team. It was very similar to the other one that we fought, except it has Rillaboom and Incineroar in this one, and Gouging Fire. With that, the Water-type Pokemon look decent. I think the problem with the Water-type Pokemon is twofold. Well, Araquanid deals with Rillaboom decently well. It's the Raging Bolt. If I played an Araquanid-centric team, game plan, I think what I would want to do would be to do something like Incineroar Ninetales. I would imagine Clear Amulet's going to be on there, Gouging Fire. But that means I can fake out and then maybe punish Whimsicott with like a Freeze Dry or something. And then switch out into Bolt. And then the final, and then Araquanid is the final one. Okay. We'll go that way. But dang, yeah, that was a tough loss. Yeah, it's tough. Because RNG, it's part of the game. And literally, yeah, if the freeze didn't happen, it would have had a fighting shot. But us losing against that freeze really screwed us over. So, alright, let's see what we're up against. It's going to be Rillaboom and Whimsicott versus Incineroar and Ninetales. So, kind of interesting leads here. Rillaboom's Grassy Terrain comes up first. So I'd imagine Rillaboom is going to get the faster fake out. But yeah, I think for now I'll fake out into their own Rillaboom and I will Freeze Dry into Whimsicott. Yeah, I figured as much. Whimsicott's probably going to set up Sunny Day here. Oh, it's just Tailwind. Okay. Alright, does a decent amount of damage there. I think I feel confident with a double up into Rillaboom with a Flare Blitz and a Freeze Dry. And see how much damage we can do here. It's just a 2 because Rillaboom is intimidated. I'm just waiting for Whimsicott to click that Sunny Day button. Stun Spore. Oh. But I am Dark type, which is super helpful. Oh, that would have been scary if that came to the different Pokemon. Okay. I think in this case I do want to get a KO on Whimsicott relatively quickly. Raging Bolt means I get a free Freeze Dry on it, which is nice. Decent amount of damage. Oh, talk about... Well, I used a fire type attack, so at least I took away the freeze. So it will not make an impact in this fight. There you go. There you go. Your Raging Bolt thawed out. You're welcome. You're welcome. Alright. And you reveal leftovers. Okay. I think in this case, I feel confident firing off a Flare Blitz into Whimsicott, and I'll bring in my own Raging Bolt. Yeah, the nice thing too is that I do have like a decent amount of offensive pressure going into this, so I do feel confident. So yeah, we're gonna eat this Moonblast, but I take that like a champ. And we also eat a Dragon Pulse as well, but I don't think this double up is enough for a KO, which is fine. And nice thing here is that, yeah, you won't have weather control. So I get a chance to fire off the Aurora Veil later in the game, which is really helpful. Okay. So, what could you bring? So we got Rin's cut out of the way. So Tailwind is slowly expiring. We also don't have to worry about immediate weather control. Tropico's is their last Pokemon. Okay. I don't think any of my Terras currently help out. Maybe Fairy, but I don't need to do it now. Yeah, so they have no way to control the weather, which is helpful. Terrapagos could Terra, so I don't want to immediately commit to Ninetales. I think Parting Shot into Raging Bolt is fine. I'll protect for now. Okay, cool. If Terrapagos Terras now, then we actually are going to be in a solid spot. Perfect. That means that Terrapagos resets the weather now, but then I get the weather back later. And I don't really need Grassy Terrain at this point. Okay, Starstorm goes off. I think I get knocked out with Incineroar, but which is fine. Yeah, it's totally fine here. And then I had to eat a Dragon Pulse. Okay, cool. Now I'm at full health, which is good. Yeah, I think the one problem is Arachnid is a little bit weird to have in the end game, but we'll work through it. So Snow is back up. Now we can fire off on Aurora Veil, and I think I'm gonna fire off I kind of want to put some damage on Raging Bolt, and then the following turn I can split my damage in different ways. Yeah, so the Terra Starstorm is going to be a pretty big hit, but hopefully we can weather the storm, so to speak. Okay, we sit pretty comfortably with that. They're going to fire off their own Dragon Pulse. Does a lot. But we'll fire it right back. Ooh. Close to a KO there. I was thinking maybe Thunderclap could get the KO, but I don't think at that range, unfortunately. If I was their Bolt, I would protect. I'm going to target their Terrapagos, and I'm going to protect here. Then the following turn, I'm going to target their Bolt. Bolt withdraws, which is fine. And that means additional recovery for me too, right? So. Not much damage. Yeah, and that's one of the problems, that Terrapagos just does so much damage. Alright, so much bulk to work with. Fake Out feels obvious, but I feel like I have to play against it. I play with that in mind. I'm down to... You know what? I think we can fist for the freeze. I say now's the time. We'll freeze dry and we'll thunderclap here. Okay. Yeah, decent damage, but not enough. As we're gonna be eating this Terra Starstorm. Jeez, the Starstorms are just eating us alive. Alright, I got an idea. Alright, we're gonna switch in Arachnid not gonna Terra. And we're gonna Thunderbolt into Terrapagos. Ninetales versus Bolt at Bolt's range right now. I think Ninetales can win it. Alright, Araquanid, let's go. Alright, they use Glide into Bolt, which is fine. And Tri Attack too. Are you going into Araquanid? Okay, a decent amount of damage. But Terrapagos reveals the Citrus Berry. God, you see how much recovery that was? I really want a Liquidation here, and then Fire Off and Protect. Yeah, I'm glad I didn't Terra. That's a lot of damage, jeez! I mean, they don't even need Aurora Veil. I just can't break through them. Okay, alright, we got something. Snow's over, but... yeah, Grassy Terrain, man, that's just eating us up. Okay. I think I got it. We're gonna Wide Guard here, and we're gonna knock out Terrapagos with a Thunderbolt. Alright, if you Wood Hammer, you could probably Grassy Glide into... you Wood Hammer into Bolt. I survive. Please don't Tri Attack. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. I survived, dang. Let's go! Oh my gosh, this battle is so stressful. We knocked out Terrapagos, but at what cost? You know how much work we had to get to that point? And I think their Bolt outspent mine. I think I'm gonna try to knock out Bolt, and I'm gonna Protect here. Oh my gosh, this is so stressful. Yeah, I mean, kind of feels obvious. Yeah, I don't think any of my Terras make sense, because I think the way I want to play this is knock out their Bolt with Ninetales, right? But their Bolt could easily protect. Oh my gosh, this is a lot to process. Because it's easy for so their Bolt protects. How do I make sure I have a really solid play? I would have to attack Rillaboom. Now Rillaboom could potentially knock out Ninetales. I got one more turn of Aurora Veil. But I have to knock out their Bolt. Right? That's the problem. It's like that threat. I already protected. I'm down to freeze dry their Bolt. And I will Dragon Pulse into their Rillaboom. This feels... They didn't protect. That's huge. That actually gives us a potential here. yeah, you're gonna Woodhammer. I survived. Let's go, Ninetales! We gotta get some hype in the chat for Ninetales, y'all. Oh my goodness. I did not anticipate to survive, but that made sense. The Woodhammer is gone. I got defense EVs and snow. Boost up my defense by 1.5 times. Let's give it up for Ninetales. Yes! And then all we gotta do is just Aurora Veil and protect here, and I think we got this. Get us another round of Aurora Veil! Oh, that was so scary. And it boiled down to them not protecting Raging Bolt and me reckoning. I needed that KO. I needed the KO on Raging Bolt. It was necessary. But yeah, that's huge. And Rillaboom's going to Grassy Glide, sure. But I get an extra turn of recovery. We get the snow up. Rillaboom has no way to recover its own HP. I get to keep on getting these nice little, like, oh yeah, the leftover recovery and things like that. So we're gonna Dragon Pulse here, and I got Aurora Veil supporting me. Rillaboom hasn't revealed its final move, which is U-turn. All right, cool. So we just gotta protect, and then because I'll end the next turn with more HP than I started. Oh my goodness. The way that you can throw this is if I decided to Terra that turn, because then Woodhammer would do more. We did it. Oh, that was so scary. Well done for my opponent, man. That was tough, and we had to deal with a full, like, Terrapagos, and Arachniid was putting in work, surviving some big attacks and slamming back. Some key protects there. The leftovers recovery is huge. The Grassy Train got another round of Aurora Veil up. Oh my goodness. That was it. And I'm so glad we ended our battle with that one. That was awesome. Oh my goodness. Let's go. That was great. I'm glad that was the end of how we played that. So, yeah, I think right now I am probably going to call it for now. Just because, I'm... one, my throat hurts. But two, of just like, I'll take care of some things around the house and things like that. But y'all, I just want to say thank you so much for tuning in. Huge shout out to Apollo, Bridge, and Hardy B for being in the chat today. And even for those who weren't in the chat, but just for tuning in, really appreciate you guys. There was some great battles. They were really tough and fun too. Terrapagos. I'm glad that I got to fight it now. It won't help for Charlotte, obviously, because it won't be there. But Terrapagos, honestly, is such a strong Pokemon of how well it denies you to choose Terra, right? Because, like, a lot of times you choose Terra from a defensive standpoint. Okay, I'm going to try to block some of these super effective attacks coming in. But then Terrapagos is like Terra Starstorm, and I'm able to knock it out. But one of the things with Terrapagos, too, is that without Terra, it's kind of weaker. We did run into one battle with our Carludon ran with it, and at that point, Terrapagos is fine with Calm Mind and things like that. Where it didn't need to Terra to be really strong in that one. But Terra Terrapagos is really scary. It's kind of like Zygarde. It's just so bulky. And it's really tough to take it down in one hit. Normal, you could use fighting type moves, but I think it's really hard to fit in the fighting type moves that you need. So, just a Pokemon if we get to that regulation where it's Koraidon and Miraidon able to be used, be mindful of Terrapagos. I think that it can run away with games. And if you don't need to reset things, you don't need to bring it. But without Wide Guard, that thing just can this does a lot. Alright, in any case, guys, thank you again so much for tuning in. Some great battles, a lot of learning. Feeling really great about how I'm playing the game. And I really appreciate you guys tuning in. Alright, I will see you guys next time on another episode of Gaming with Smiles. Y'all take it easy. Peace.